Sports, home to Major League Baseball, the National Football League, NASCAR, and the new home of the BCS. This is America's #1 sports network.
Welcome to the Chevy MLB pregame show on Fox. Chevy, baseball's #1 fan in American Revolution.
2 days until the trade deadline. Could he? Nah. But we should check the expiration date on the Cubs. The Cards would like to put them out of their misery today. Almost had to, Kevin.
Don't scare
All right, a lot of
everybody,
teams would like to do the same for the Nationals. Take a certain outfielder off their hands. For now, he's suited up at Dodger Stadium, but not in a Dodgers uniform. All right, stay tuned.
That was good, Jeannie.
That's Kevin. The unavoidable day of reckoning is upon us. The boys in blue have already started to make some noise, and they may not be done.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an impact bat, but Wilson Benemit's a third baseman, a bona fide third baseman, good player, switch hitter with some power, and they've got him under control. That's what Ned Colletti said. I want somebody that can have him under control for a long time. They do. For 2010. Danny Baez, of course, the bullpen help they need in Atlanta. They got Wickman, they got Baez, two guys that both have saved over 40 games. And Willie Ibar, when he gets there, will be playing third base because Chipper Jones goes on the DL.
And Dodgers telling you they want some pitching, so how about Mr. Maddox? He's agreed to waive the trade.
And I think a veteran guy going to a team that has a chance to win with good defense could really benefit getting Greg Maddux.
But you're focused on this guy.
Yeah, Soriano. Talking to some of the Nationals people last night, they say he's definitely going to be gone by the deadline, and the Angels seem to be leading contenders right now.
Oh, the Angels, Vladimir Guerrero looking good pregame, but literally exhausted by the fourth and left the game.
Yeah, Jeff Weaver left the game after 6 2/3 with
Jared
a lead.
Weaver, my friend.
Excuse me, Jared.
Oh,
Jared,
wishes.
oh goodness.
Jeff wishes.
Jeff would like to hear that.
He took care of you.
Hey, Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, they drove in some runs today. 11 fly balls in the outfield for Sean Figgins. One more, and he's got a record for putouts.
And this makes Mike Scioscia look like a genius, right? Glad he's a little tired. In comes Curtis Pride.
Why not? Right guy, right time. 2-run home run. And Jared Weaver has the lead, Gene.
There you go, my friend. All right, there's Chipper. Can we get that Wilson Benedict guy back, please? Because Chipper, as you mentioned, probably going on the DL tomorrow. We know for sure this one's out. Carlos Beltran, deep right, 2-run shot.
And, don't
Talking about
don't
a shot right there.
That's what the Mets don't need. People getting hurt right now with the big lead they have in their division.
Carlos Delgado has to lead the game, and this ball is leading.
This hurts the Braves right here. 2-run, another home run for Beltran. 2 home runs today, 30 overall. The New York Mets look like they're just going to blow this division away.
Yeah, Braves don't want to call this do or die, but we might as well go ahead and do it. All right, got to get you out to the ball game. Looking for the answers to the question everyone is asking. Could this be the last start for Greg Maddux as a Cub? And maybe last weekend for Soriano suiting up for the Nationals. We're watching the trade wins for you. It's Fox Saturday Baseball, your game of the week.
In Focus on FSN. Behind the Spotlight reveals the true story of the team of the 90s. Next week on FSN.
Mike Pace for Powerball. Remember, for just $1 more, Power Play can double, triple, or even quintuple your winning.
Hey, what about me?
Power Play. It makes Powerball even more exciting.
Woohoo! Whenever someone asks what makes my team feel, I say that you do. You're out of sight.
Like anything over 15 million wouldn't be enough? Come on.
Get ready, 'cause here it comes.
A 6-speed short-throw gearbox, a sport-tuned suspension. Start making summer memories fast. The Mercedes-Benz Summer Event. See your local authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for a great lease offer on a 2006 C230 sports sedan.
Have you been bitten by the dog days of summer?
So hot, so sticky.
Burning, itching, swelling?
It's officially rash season.
4 out of 5 doctors agree.
Doctors, look, I know how I feel.
Fox 18's Laugh Out Loud lineup is the cure for what ails you.
Well, Kitty, who are you going to believe? Some quack doctor or the man who stood by you while you delivered our children?
Oh, you did not? You went out for a sob.
Get your daily 2-hour treatment every weekday starting at 5 on Fox 18.
Feeling better already.
The Great Mississippi Valley Fair is back August 1st through the 6th, and Fox 18 will be there. Stop by our booth for your chance to win some fabulous prizes, like Fox 18 t-shirts and hearty steak burger certificates. On Saturday, August 5th, meet the Fox 18 News team and get a free hand fan. Plus, we'll have special Quad City CW t-shirts during CW Days. There's a lot going on at the Fox 18 CW booth, so mark your calendars for the Great Mississippi Valley Fair, August 1st through the 6th. We'll see you there.
There are Cardinal fans here, of course. There are Cub fans here, and everybody is rolling on into Wrigley Field on what is a scorching hot day here in Chicago. But a beautiful day for this great rivalry. The St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Chicago Cubs. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming up. As the game of baseball rolls toward the trading deadline, we have this nice little series for you on a Saturday game of the week. The amazing thing is for the Cardinals, who right now have a 3.5 game lead in the Central Division, the team they cannot beat, the Chicago Cubs. Heck, they couldn't even beat the Chicago White Sox. And for the explanation as to why, the guy who knows the answers to all that stuff, Tim McCarver, why have the Cardinals struggled so much with the Cubs this year?
Well, I think mainly they haven't been getting the resounding success out of their main guy, and that's Albert Pujols, who's batting only .158 against the Cubs this year. The last 2 games on Thursday afternoon, bases loaded in the 5th inning, a double play grounder to get the Cubs out of it. In the 8th inning, when he hit the ball hard, there was Jock Jones there to make a sparkling play. Friday afternoon, fast forward. With 2 men on, Albert Pujols strikes out against Novoa. So they really haven't gotten the production where they've gotten production all year long.
Hey, let's talk about this pitching matchup. Young Anthony Reyes for St. Louis today against Greg Maddux. This may be his second swan song here today with the Chicago Cubs. It is a different Greg Maddux here in 2006 than we're used to seeing.
Yeah, Joe, I never thought I'd be saying this. It used to be when Greg Maddux pitched, the hitters did all the work. Now, Greg Maddux is doing all the work while the hitters hit.
The numbers aren't that great, but I'll tell you this. There are a lot of teams playoff bound that would love to have Greg Maddux in their rotation. That sets the table for this day of baseball for you from beautiful Chicago, Illinois. This rivalry continues. The Cardinals and the Cubs. And it's yours next on Fox.
I think it happens to a lot of guys over 50. See, I was always going during the movies and hating to stand up, going during a presentation and hating to stand out.
For you this afternoon.
And once I got there, I had trouble going, and I was going 3 times a night. I said to my doctor, I have a going problem. He said, you have a growing problem. It's not your bladder. Your prostate is growing. See, I had an enlarging prostate. My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Most medicines only treat symptoms. Avodart, with time, actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go and go less often.
Only your doctor can tell if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition such as prostate cancer, so have regular prostate exams. Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to the risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely, sexual side effects, tenderness, or swelling of the breast can occur. Call your doctor today. Avodart for your growing problem.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. It's your one-of-a-kind one-stop shop for everything from performance parts to cool custom accessories.
Welcome to the Stackers Union. We build stacks of meat and cheese. Hey, what's this? A single? We don't do singles!
New BK Stacker. Flame broiled beef, melted cheese, crispy bacon, no veggies. Keep it simple, tough guy.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
I'm a PC.
Ready to get started?
Well, not quite. Got a lot to do. What's your big plan?
I might make a home movie or maybe create a website, try out my built-in camera. I can do it all right out of the box, so what about you?
Well, first I got to download those new drivers, and I got to erase the trial software that came on my hard drive.
Sweet.
And I've got a lot of manuals to read.
You know, it sounds like you have a lot of stuff to do before you do any stuff, so I'm just going to get started because I'm kind of excited. Let me know when you're ready.
Actually, the rest of me's in some other boxes, so I'll meet up with you later.
Your SUV is designed to go off-road, but sometimes the off-road comes to you. Introducing the new Goodyear Forterra with silent armor technology, made with SUV drivers in mind. A layer made with Kevlar means the Forterra is tough and rugged, and extra cushioning means the Forterra rides quietly and comfortably. The new Goodyear Forterra with silent armor technology. Go confidently on the wings of Goodyear.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
That's the kind of day it is. Whatever it takes to keep the sun off you, to try to stay cool, even unbutton your shirt. And just enjoy the heck out of being at Wrigley Field. 93 degrees. Feels like 103. I don't know who he asked for that. Maybe that guy with a sombrero and the open shirt. The humidity. You need gills to be able to breathe on a day like this. Let's give you the starting lineup for Tony La Russa's St. Louis Cardinals. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. David Eckstein leads it off, so Taguchi and Albert Pujols batting third. Scott Rowland cleans up. Encarnacion has been hot. Edmonds, Hector Luna, Yadier Molina, and the young Anthony Reyes, the 24-year-old right-hander, pitching and batting ninth. This place will be bursting by the end of the day. And we're underway with Maddox in the middle of it, dealing strike one to Eckstein. There are the numbers for Maddox: 8 and 11, an ERA of 4.83. And Eckstein will start it with a ground ball to second. Afi Perez, one out. For more on Greg Maddox, the 40-year-old right-hander, here is the pitching profile. It's brought to you by Exxon and Mobile Retailers.
I think it's no secret that Greg Maddox, living with less velocity, he needs strikes just off the plate to be successful. And Greg Maddox equals greatness. What a remarkable career. 326 wins throughout his spectacular career.
With a career ERA in the low threes as So Taguchi takes a strike. He is a teammate's dream because he gets it and throws it. He doesn't mess around on the mound. He's a 4-time Cy Young Award winner, a 15-time Gold Glove Award winner. And he's 0-2 on So Taguchi.
That's the pitch he needs to be successful. A pitch just off the plate. Front corner. Actually, Barrett caught that ball off the plate.
0-2 pitch. High and tight to Taguchi. You know the story with Maddox. He came up with the Chicago Cubs. His first taste of the big leagues was in 1986. Pitched here until through the 92 season. He went to Atlanta, was there for 11 years, and now he's back. Third year of being back. He misses outside. The count evens on Taguchi. And there is a chance, with his name being bounced around with the trade rumors, that he could be making his last Cubs start here today. Taguchi slaps it down the right field line. It's foul, and it's still 2-2. And Tim, I would submit to you, and you and I haven't talked about it, even though he's 8 and 11 and he's not pitching like you typically expect Greg Maddox to pitch, if I'm a playoff team and I've got to get a win and it's a game 5 in a division series or a game 7 in an LCS, I don't mind handing the ball to Greg Maddox.
You'll take your chances and hope he finds the magic that he had in September. 5-0 with a 1.35 ERA. I said September, and that was incorrect. April. 5-0 in April with a 1.35 earned run average.
But since 3-11 at an ERA over 6, there are teams like the Mets and others. The Dodgers were rumored. A while ago it was Milwaukee. They were busy last night. But Milwaukee, with his older brother Mike, is the pitching coach there. Although the Brewers have fallen out of the race for now. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That is just down and away. Maddox stares in, and the count's full.
You can see the body language of Greg Maddox wanting this pitch in. That's the pitch we were talking about. I think it was called low.
And that foul tip keeps Taguchi at the plate. But that's really it for the Cubs. I mean, they've got Todd Walker, who they could deal. They've got Phil Nevin, who they picked up recently from Texas, who they could turn around and try to get somebody younger for. But they don't have much to deal here at the deadline. 2 out. With an eye on 2007, trying to get better. The defense for the Cubs brought to you by Gillette Fusion. With Pagan in left field, Juan Pierre in center, and Jock Jones in right. Ramirez, Cedeno, Nafi Perez, and John Mabry, a former Cardinal. Michael Barrett does the catching as Albert Pujols digs his way in here in the first. And he takes low for ball one. Only 158 is his average this season against Chicago pitching.
343 against the rest of the league.
Big reason why the Cardinals are 0-8 in Chicago overall, and he slams this high delivery into the gap in left center. Pagan cuts it off, and it's a crisp single here with 2 out in the first. Before that base hit, here are his stats this season against Chicago. 10 games, a 158 average, 1 home run. And he can hop on a high delivery from Greg Maddux.
Very little stride in the approach to the ball by Albert Pujols. In essence, he picks the left foot up, sets it down. Have to be very strong to hit like that, and he is.
Here is Roland, and there is strike one. It's really the hokey pokey school of hitting. You pick your left foot up, you put your left foot down, you win an MVP, and then you cash in for big money. He's on with 2 out here in the first, and the 0-1 to Roland. Pujols takes off. The throw by Barrett is too late, and a stolen base for Pujols, his 4th of the season.
You would think that a pitcher who has won 15 Gold Gloves would be able to hold runners on better than Greg Maddux. But you could see that high leg kick, the left leg really above the waist, gave Pujols a chance to steal his 4th base of the season.
The count has gone to 0-2 on Roland. And Roland slaps it foul off to the right.
Here's that high leg kick right here. Regardless of how fast you get the ball home, when you have that high a leg kick, that allows the runner at first to get 3 or 4 strides towards second base. Pujols stole that one easily.
Maddux trying to put away Roland and keep this a scoreless first inning. That's down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals start the day 3.5 games up on Cincinnati. And they had been on a roll prior to arriving here in Chicago. They'd won 13 of 16 before losing the first 2 games of this series. 1-2. Roland fights it off, trying to dump it into left center field, and a base hit to put St. Louis on top. Roland delivers a hit by Pujols, an important stolen base, and then the flare hit off the hands by Roland. It's 1-0 Cardinals.
It is maddening when you do what you want to do as a pitcher. You throw the pitch exactly where you want it to, and the hitter is strong enough, as Roland obviously is, to drive in Pujols from second base.
So Pujols trying to get rid of some of that frustration with what he's done this season against Chicago, with a base hit, a stolen base, a run scored, and that for Pujols is his 72nd run scored. National League is led by Chase Utley of Philadelphia with 84 runs scored, so some work to do for Pujols to lead the league, and if he does it, Encarnacion takes ball 1. Pujols will be the first player in Major League Baseball history to lead the league 4 straight years in runs scored, after becoming the first player in Major League Baseball history to have his first 6 years end with 30 or more home runs. That is a strike on the outside corner. 1-1 on Encarnacion. That has been the list to this point, with guys who have done it in Major League Baseball history 3 straight seasons, and Pujols will try to do it for the 4th. Encarnacion with a line drive into left. It's going to bounce in front of the left fielder Pagan. Good effort by Angel, but it's 3 straight singles and a bigger opportunity for St. Louis here in the first. A little pickup on the short hop saved a run with Pagan coming in to grab it.
About 2 weeks ago, I had a long conversation with John Vukovich, who is now one of the assistants to the general manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. When John was a coach here in Chicago, he said that Don Zimmer had the outfielders play shallow everywhere. And he said because balls out over their heads are home runs or against the wall. So play a shallow outfield here at Wrigley Field. It was the first time that I'd ever heard that, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
And now when you look down and you see where Pagan is playing with a left-handed batter at the plate.
Yeah, yeah.
It even makes less sense to be that deep. As he watches and at the plate, Jim Edmonds takes a strike over the outside corner.
There's a lot to be said, and of course within reason, but there's a lot to be said of playing a shallow outfield anywhere, but particularly here at Wrigley Field, but it goes against convention.
Edmonds in the hole 0-2. There's the guy in left, Pagan, who looks to be too deep. A little base hit into left field with Rolen running. Would be an easy second run of this inning for St. Louis. The numbers in the career of Jim Edmonds against Greg Maddux. The 0-2. Too far inside, ball one. Home plate umpire is Mark Wegner. And that's always something that Greg Maddux is aware of anytime he takes the mound. Here he has his extensive knowledge of what guys do in blue behind the plate as he does to the guys with bats in their hands trying to beat him with hits.
That is absolutely true.
Edmonds strikes out, and Greg Maddux limits the damage. 3 straight hits for St. Louis. A 2-out RBI hit by Rolen, and a lead for Anthony Reyes at Wrigley.
How do we know you spend more time behind the wheel than you want? And that often, what really needs refueling is you. How do we know you like fast better than slow? And that a friendly place to stop along the way can make a big difference in your life? How do we know? It's really very simple. The human touch and 1,000 other things you need. We're Exxon. We're mobile. We're drivers too.
Honey, remember when you asked me to spice up your food?
Yeah?
The new Spicy Chicken Crunchwrap Supreme. Spicy and grilled, so it's good to go.
Whoa, spicy. And grilled, so it's good to go. Good to go?
Good to go.
The new Spicy Chicken Crunchwrap Supreme. Shredded chicken simmered in Mexican spices with melty, crunchy, cool Taco Bell tastes. Loaded into a flour tortilla and grilled so it's good to go.
He's good to go.
For a spicier way to go, think outside the bun.
Baby Ruth is the candy bar for baseball guys. Guys who like peanuts, nougat, and caramel every bit as much as a Grand Slam. And if you're a woman who likes that stuff, want to go to a ball game? Baby Ruth from Nestle, official candy bar of Major League Baseball.
Wherever you're going, there's a car company that wants you to get more out of a gallon of gas. Chevy. 9 out of 10 cars we sell get an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon or better. Here's one that doesn't, but it still gets 26 mpg highway. Chevy, we're taking a full tank further. That's an American revolution.
Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by your Exxon and Mobil retailers. We're drivers too. By the new Spicy Chicken Crunch Wrap Supreme at Taco Bell, it's good to go. By new Gillette Fusion, the best shave ever in manual and battery power. And by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution. Beautiful day on the lake today. Not a lot of wind. So therefore, it's a beautiful day here at Wrigley Field. A little hot. But my gosh, it's the end of July. What do you want? First pitch from Anthony Reyes is up and away. Ball 1 to Juan Pierre. Juan Pierre has been hot of late. And it's made Dusty Baker say that's the guy we traded for when we made the big deal with the Marlins. And one of the guys they traded, Ricky Nolasco, a right-hander, flirted with a no-hitter last night. That slapped into left foul, and it counts 1-2. The lineup for the Chicago Cubs. has Pierre at the top. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Then it's Nathan Perez, Michael Barrett, Ramos Ramirez, Jock Jones, John Mabry, Angel Pagan, Ronnie Cedeno, and then Maddox. And that's into left field for Taguchi. One away. The key for the young right-hander Reyes is to get through the first inning. That has been a nightmare for this young man, and the pitcher profile for Reyes is brought to you by Exxon and Mobil Retailers.
Trying to get that feeling again. He had a very comfortable start for the Cardinals. In fact, when he returned on the 22nd of June, he pitched his best game in a Cardinal uniform. He one-hit the White Sox and lost on a Jim Thome home run.
Pours a fastball over the outside corner. Strike one to Nathan Perez.
Joe, that second point is a very important point that we talked to Tony La Russa about. That caught in between.
0-2.
It's the worst thing for a hitter or for a pitcher. And with Anthony Reyes, the problem is when he throws the first pitch, he wants to make the perfect pitch, and then he misses and now has to come in with it. And that's a problem. That's an 0-2 pitch. That's a different story. But by trying to be too fine too early, you're caught in between staying ahead of the hitter, challenging him early, and then go off the plate.
Perez pops it up left side, and that ball will get out of play. One thing that Tony La Russa told us before the game is he knows that Reyes won't be scared, won't be intimidated. Here's a Cardinal team that hasn't won at Wrigley this season. That's what he's done his first 4 starts compared to his last 4. Reason why you think that the 24-year-old might panic. But what he did against the White Sox in that start, and he went 8 innings allowing 1 run on 1 hit. La Russa said that tells you all you need to know. We've been pounded for 2 games against the White Sox, and he came out and had every reason to be intimidated. Wasn't, and should have won the ball game, but Cardinals didn't hit.
Tell you, when you wear your socks that high, you know a guy's not intimidated, because it is very unconventional to wear your socks and your pants that high in this day and age.
He has popped the first 2 up into left. Taguchi is there for out number 2. Also, when you iron the bill of your cap, that should tell you something, which he does. You got to work to get the thing that flat.
Well, that's true. That's true.
The defense for the Cardinals brought to you by Gillette Fusion. It is the number 2 ranked defense in the NL with regard to fielding percentage, and the 2, Rolen and Edmonds, a combined 14 Gold Gloves, 8 for Edmonds and 6 for Rolen, and he fools Barrett on a changeup. 0-1. Just to finish the story with the first inning for Reyes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reyes, his first 15 pitches, has allowed a .455 average against him. So that's first inning death. And from then on, opponents have hit only .217 against Reyes, and that's a big new part of his arsenal, that changeup, and he's thrown 2 good ones to Michael Barrett. And Barrett is hit by the pitch. They had a little knockdown action yesterday, and a couple of key players, Scott Rolen and Aramis Ramirez, hit by pitches in the 7th inning. So those fans who were here or aware of that say, we're going to see this again. Reyes missed on 0-2.
Trying to come inside after change-up, slider, change-up. Trying to back him off the plate. Much ado about nothing in my view yesterday and certainly today, but when you hit a batter today, it doesn't matter whether it's with a change-up, with a fastball, with a breaking ball. The crowd's going to get into it.
And here's a pass ball on Yadier Molina to send the tying run. Barrett down to second base. Here's yesterday. Novoa hits Rolen in the upper back, glanced off his neck, and then it was Braden Looper hitting Aramis Ramirez on the backside, and Gary Bennett did a nice job of making sure that nothing happened that shouldn't have here at Wrigley yesterday in the 7th. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ramirez could tie this game or put Chicago on top. 2-0. Aramis Ramirez has been hot. And in his 3 years with the Cubs, he has proven to be a very good second half hitter. Last 9 games hitting .382, 7 home runs. It's 3-0 with Jock Jones on deck. Michael Barrett hit with an 0-2 pitch. Passed ball sent him down to second. And with 2 out, there's ball 4 to put 2 on for Jones. So here's the Chicago opportunity in the first. And Jock Jones will have a chance to take a bite out of the Cardinals here in the first inning. They were all over Jock Jones early in the year here at Wrigley Field. He is his average up to .291, 16 home runs. And in his career, a .424 hitter against Cardinal pitching. A lot of that done with the Twins. 2 on with 2 out. And a throw down to second. Barrett is out to end the inning.
What a throw.
What a throw by Molina, and Michael Barrett wandering too far ends the first inning by getting picked off a second by Yadier Molina. That's helping out the kid right-hander. 1-0 St. Louis after 1.
If you haven't discovered the miracle of fusion, it's time you did. Gillette Fusion. Until now, pressure caused irritation. Fusion has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure, with less irritation and more comfort. Flip Fusion over. A precision trimmer for those tricky places. The comfort of 5 blades, plus the precision of 1. The best shave ever in manual and battery powered. Gillette guarantees it or your money back. Gillette Fusion.
It's a fact. The more we learn about how to take care of ourselves and our families, the longer and healthier our lives become. That's why more people turn to WebMD than any other health information source. It's a place where people find answers to health questions with an ease never before possible, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can finally forge a link between better information and better health. WebMD.
Pillaging was great this time of year, but with so many people switching to Capital One, we've taken jobs as camp counselors. Burnt a village to the ground, doo-dah, doo-dah. We're not exactly role models.
For low rates and great rewards, switch to Capital One.
What's in your wallet? Put your backs into it.
This is Duralast, the battery built to exceed the need. It's engineered with all the cranking power you need for extreme conditions. And for a limited time, get an AutoZone gift card with purchase. Only at AutoZone.
Sometimes kids just don't see it. Steroids can ruin bones, tendons, organs, and dreams. Talk to your kids about the dangers of steroids. Visit drugfree.org.
Hector Luna leads off for St. Louis in the second, and the first pitch is a strike from Maddox. 1-0 the Cardinals on top. It'll be Luna, Yadier Molina, and Anthony Reyes against the future Hall of Famer. The 0-1. High chop to third. What a play by Ramirez. Went up to get it and gets the out. Good play by Aramis Ramirez. 1 down.
A lot of times infielders have to time it just right. Ramirez did that. A guy who did not time it right, Michael Barrett, who was on at second base. And the one thing you have to be wary of is when a left-handed batter is up and you're the runner on at second base, the shortstop is already in position. It's not holding you on, but he's already in position to make the play. You can see David Eckstein there, and the throw, Molina licking his chops right on the helmet of Michael Barrett.
And clearly that's a set play there because
Sure.
Eckstein is headed to the bag as the pitch crossed the plate. Molina was set up way to the outside, almost had to reach and lunge back to catch the pitch, and then fired down to second to pick off his 15th runner over the last 2 years, the highest total in baseball. And that's what Molina brings to this Cardinal team, because offensively he has not done really much of anything here in 2006. He takes a strike and the count evens at 1-1.
If you're a right-handed hitter, think right, and that means right field. When you think right field, your shoulder's going to be in there. And Tony La Russa is saying today a lot of times hitters don't realize how quick their hands are.
Trying to go into right, and a fly ball toward the line. It'll drop foul and out of the reach of Jock Jones. Molina, among all big leaguers who would qualify for a batting race, he has the lowest average in Major League Baseball, yet Tony La Russa doesn't even think about not putting him in the lineup because of what he does calling games and what he does with his arm. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Molina with a pitcher on deck. Two and two. Schedule makers gave the fans here at Wrigley a little break this morning with a 3 o'clock start. After a big night out last night on Rush Street or wherever here in this great city, they got a chance to sleep in a little bit. 2-2 pitch. And another foul by Molina. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball. Together they create a positive place for kids. And this is a positive place for kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Wrigley Field and this rivalry, I'm not so sure you can say the same about the one up east. Hide the kids when the Red Sox and Yankees get together.
Speaking of those guys up in the Northeast corridor, the Red Sox have just scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th to tie the red-hot Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
That's just good math by you, looking up on that board and adding that up like that. Molina grounds to the left side. Cedeno has time and gets the out, 2 away. How about an update? How about Jeannie Zelasco on the Fox Network Center?
Got one for you. No lead safe against the Red Sox lineup. Here is the proof. Mike Lowell does the damage. His Major League Baseball leading 37th double. Drives in the tying runs. Everybody has 6, top 9.
All right, Jeannie. So the good season continues for Mike Lowell, and the red-hot play by the Yankees has continued. They got a shutout last night from Wong. 6-0 over Tampa Bay. They're losing 3-2 early to Tampa Bay today, but they're only a half game up in the wild card chase, and in the AL East only a half game out. And that's amazing considering the injuries that they've suffered so far in 2006.
Yeah, they're 2 amazing teams in the American League right now with the way they played. The Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees. The Twins came from 11.5 back in the wild card race to be where they are right now. Just remarkable.
They're a game and a half out in the wild card. White Sox are a half game out. There are the facts about Minnesota and what they've done over their last 43 games. Best home record in baseball, and that trio of Santana, Liriano, and Radke is as good as it gets. 2-2 on Anthony Reyes. Teams would quiver to have to match up with the Minnesota Twins in a short playoff series with that pitching.
I should say.
Little comebacker to the 15-time Gold Glove Award winner. Maddox knows what to do with it. Cardinals go in order. Cubs have Jones, Mabry, and Pagan coming up in the bottom of the second. 1-0 St. Louis.
The sure sign of summer. Budweiser Select. Brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. Expect everything.
Cause there's a party over here, so you might as well be here with the
Chevy Impala SS with active fuel management, which means that a powerful 303 horsepower V8 also gets great highway mileage. Since Impala SS gives you 8 cylinders for power and 4 cylinders for better fuel economy. There's also the security of a 5-star frontal crash test rating. The Impala SS. It's a whole new animal. That's an American revolution.
Here's to men, to guys who want to take longer drives with fewer pit stops. And here's to Flomax. It's approved to treat male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also called an enlarged prostate. In 1 week, Flomax may help symptoms like going often, going urgently, weak stream, frequently waking up at night to go. Ask your doctor if symptoms are from BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden decrease in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. To learn more, call 866-4-FLOMAX. Ask your doctor. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
On August 25th, discover how an ordinary bartender tried to become the most unlikely rookie in NFL history. Invincible, inspired by a true story, rated PG.
Fox Saturday Baseball, sponsored by Budweiser Select. Brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. Expect everything. There is everything to do in this city. It's the kind of day it is out on Lake Michigan, 1-0. We move to the bottom of the second, and the Cubs will have Jones, who was at the plate when Barrett was picked off second. John Mabry and Angel Pagan against Anthony Reyes. And ball one outside to Jock Jones. To the right side, it's a fair ball, and that's out number one. Well, during the week, Jim Hendry, who got a 2-year contract extension in April, made the public announcement that Dusty Baker would be able to relax, that he would not be fired before the end of the season, and then they will reevaluate. He's in the final year of a 4-year contract. And personally speaking, I think that's the right move, and I think they've got the right guy in the dugout if they can ever get through a season without suffering devastating injuries to their rotation and their best player in the lineup.
Yeah, the right guy in the dugout has to match the right guys on the field.
They missed Derek Lee for 2 months. He has since been put back on the disabled list as Mabry gets out of the way of that pitch. And then with what's gone on with Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor, a combined 49 2/3 innings pitched total this season between the both of them. This team is built around those two guys, and for the last couple of years they have not been able to answer the bell.
I was thinking similarly, you really have to take a review that even with Pryor and Wood and Lee, are they good enough to compete in the National League Central? And I'm not too sure they are.
Mabry he's saying he was hit by the pitch. The home plate umpire doesn't agree. So here we go again. Yesterday this happened with Ronnie Cedeno at the plate. A little different situation, but here Dusty Baker, who was ejected yesterday by Eddie Montague, the crew chief, is going to first give Mabry his bat back, and then he's going to make his argument, which doesn't really bode well. That wouldn't be the first great move in a good defense attorney's arsenal. First, hand the bat back to the guy that you're trying to convince the umpire should be down at first base.
Yeah, that's good. Scott Turow would not approve of that move.
Here's yesterday with Ronnie Cedeno at the plate up there to bunt, and that pitch came up and in. Ed Montague, who I would say in his defense is in a tough spot trying to determine whether that pitch was offered at. Now they're going to go down and ask the guy who ejected Baker yesterday, Montague, whether it hit Mabry.
I think more than the umpires, you can rely on the hitter, because no hitter can react fast enough if he's not hit. Human beings don't react fast enough. If the hitter's initial move is toward first base, once he's gotten his balance back, then if I were a home plate umpire, I'd say he was hit by the pitch. So Dusty Baker's 0 for 2 in that category.
At least today he stayed in the game.
Yeah.
Here's another look at it.
Yep, hit him in the left foot, it looked like. It was a hard pitch to call.
It's a walk either way, so no big deal.
Right.
And the second walk issued by Reyes. And it's 1-on-1 out here in the second inning with Pagan coming to the plate.
Notice John Mabry, when he went to first, he disdainfully limped the last 3 feet.
First, he purposely fired the bat back toward the on-deck circle and then limped down to first base. A real beloved player from his time in St. Louis in a Cardinal uniform, and he and his wife Ann still live there in the St. Louis area. Here's a pitch that misses to Pagan, ball 1. It's Pagan now. It's Ronnie Cedeno on deck. And a 1-0 St. Louis lead. Pitch was up, 1 ball, 1 strike. I thought it was funny to read the articles down the stretch prior to the All-Star break with different writers saying, well, the Cubs, they've won 3 games here before the break, so that should give Dusty Baker a little more breathing room during the All-Star break. It's like, what? What does that have to do with anything?
I have never seen a manager reevaluated every other day more than Dusty Baker and the Chicago Cubs this year.
Yep, they won, so his job's safe for another 2 days. I mean, it's a 162-game, 6-month season. What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Angel Pagan. Mabry is on at first with 1 out. And Pagan out in front of that pitch. Another changeup from Reyes. The count stays 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Joe, you do have to think back 3 years ago and just think about where the Chicago Cubs would be, and of course the attitude of these fans. They continue to pack Wrigley Field, so the attitude of the fans can't be any greater than it is right now. But from an organizational standpoint, what a lift it would have been had the Cubs just gotten to the World Series in 2003 instead of the Marlins.
Change-up and a little flare into shallow center that's going to drop for a hit. It's 2 on with 1 out. And not just that, Tim, but I think as a baseball fan, that scene in 2003, and you and I were doing the ALCS, which was a great ALCS, the Red Sox and Yankees, but watching the games on television at night and seeing Sheffield and Waveland Avenues just packed with people in this great ballpark, and all the emotion that was attached with every pitch. What a great lift for the game of baseball it would be if the Cubs could get there. But from getting to within 5 outs in 2003 to backpedaling ever since and sitting where they are right now, it has been a pretty big drop. That's in the dirt. Ball 1 to Ronnie Cedeno. Had a lot of hopes riding on Nomar Garcia-Parra. That didn't work out. And obviously you can't get around Wood and Pryor. Last year they got a tremendous season from Derek Lee, and this season he has had little impact because of the broken wrist. Here's a 1-0. That is a breaking ball in for a strike. 1-1 on Cedeno, who this season is hitting .474 against Cardinal pitching. Mark Pryor, one of the guys, one of the few who's still around from that 2003 postseason team. That's into right center field. That ball is going to drop for a hit. Mabry will be held at third, and there's a backup at third base. Rolen does not see Mabry behind him, who comes around to score, and it's a tie game. Third base coach Chris Spire held Mabry coming around. Angel Pagan continued to run, And the Cubs get the best of both worlds. Mabry scores and Pagan is safe at third.
A comedy of errors. First of all, Pagan rounded second base with his head down. Mabry held up at third, and now after stopping goes home. Roland tries to make the tag on Pagan as Mabry scores to tie the game. May see a squeeze right here.
First and third with one out. Maddox showing bunt early. And a step to third, look to first. That was almost a balk. Pujols to Eckstein. The throw to the plate. Safe at the plate. 2-1 Chicago. Down to second is Cedeno. And the Cardinals are melting here in the second. Everybody safe again.
These are the things that you usually see from the Chicago Cubs. I agree with you. I thought that was a balk on Reyes. When he faked to third, he maintained contact. And now Eckstein runs Cedeno back too far, allowing Pagan to score. Pagan with excellent base running. And the Cubs take the lead on 2 pitches, and things un-Cardinal-like happen to St. Louis.
They rule it a stolen base. There's no error on the board. But there are at least 2, maybe 3 mental errors that have taken place in the last 2 plays we've seen here in the second inning. So here is a Cardinal team that's number 2 in the National League in fielding percentage, that's made 13 errors in 11 games against the Cubs this season, making mental mistakes. Now Maddox lines one to right, caught by Encarnacion, 2 out. They're giving Pagan a steal of home, and they're giving second base to Ronnie Cedeno on the throw home.
Joe,
and now it's Pierre coming to the plate with a runner at second, 2 out.
Excuse me, partner. I was just thinking about Scott Rowland and how he could tell that the important guy, John Mabry, was going home and that he had been stopped. You're concentrating so much on the throw from right field. The only way you can go is by the third base coach. And I don't know whether you can react that quickly or if you can hear the third base coach, but that was his only gauge. Otherwise, he's concentrating on receiving the ball from right field to make the play on Pagan.
Now runner at second, 2 out, and Pierre takes a strike from Anthony Reyes. However, Roland, the 6-time Gold Glover, has made 4 errors in 11 games against the Cubs. And whether it's a teammate screaming at him or something else, there was a body right behind him when he took that throw.
Yeah.
And Mabry eventually had to go to the plate because there was a backup at third base with Angel Pagan coming toward him. Runner at second, 2 out, 0-1 pitch, and now a shot into right for a base hit by Pierre. The throw by Encarnacion to the plate. The collision, the out, and the inning is over. And Molina is making sure that Cedeno's okay. What an inning.
What a terrific play by Molina. Cedeno knocks the ball out of his glove. Molina recovering it in time. Cedeno nowhere close to the plate. Warding off Cedeno, makes the tag. Inning over. What an inning.
I think it's 2-1 Chicago after 2. Back after this from your local Fox station.
Maybe I can be up for the job. I did win the Heisman Trophy. I studied political science.
Find out when Fox NFL Sunday returns.
This is it. It's Ford Model Year Clearance. It's the final days to drive on us with 0% financing. Plus, we pay for your gas until 2007. It's your last chance for 0%. Plus, we pay for your gas until 2007. That's right. You get both. And a no-charge 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. You don't want to miss the best deal of the year. It's the final days. You only have until July 31st to drive on us during Ford Model Year Clearance.
Love and wanna see possibilities.
Meanwhile, the adventure continues. The biggest promotion in Illinois lottery history. Set for life. With $200 million in total available prizes, time is running out. You could be one of 16 winners who will win cash for a car, cash for a vacation, or $100,000 every year for the rest of your life.
Send in $30 worth of qualifying non-winning instant or pick-and-play tickets today for your second chance to win.
Don't wait. Play Set for Life today.
Ice cream has met its match. Introducing Culver's Concrete Mixer. Unlike those other guys, ours starts with hand-dipped fresh frozen custard, which is better than ice cream. Thick, creamy, and made fresh throughout the day. Mix in your favorite fruit, nuts, or candy for the ultimate spoonable treat. Culver's Concrete Mixer. Think thick.
From 138 hopefuls, 12 finalists were selected, but only one could come out on top. And the winner of the 2006 Quad City Idol is Derek Levi of Davenport, Iowa. Derek will be on his way to his guaranteed American Idol audition at the FedEx Forum in Memphis on September 3rd. Will he be the next American Idol? Only time will tell. Congratulations and good luck, Derek. From Pleasure Pools and Spas, Ashley Furniture, Tull Ford, B100, and Fox 18. Laugh out loud with Everybody Loves Raymond. Weeknights on Fox 18.
Well, you better be aware today. We just came back and Eckstein was showing bunt, pulled back and hit a line drive at the photographers down the left field line. It's a weird start to this one in Wrigley. The Cardinals and the Cubs 2-1 Chicago after 2. Eckstein trying to start it, and Cedeno just involved in the play at the plate. Makes a nice play for out number 1. Eckstein's 0 for 2 and back to that play at the plate.
One of the first responsibilities for a catcher when you can't see the runner, you're receiving the throw from right field, is to ward the runner outside, to push him outside. So from a runner's standpoint, the best place to go is inside the line. So inside and not outside, because when you go outside, you're doing exactly what the catcher wants you to do, and that's what happened to Cedeno.
Here's Taguchi with an infield base hit off the leg of Greg Maddux.
This is like arena football for the last half hour.
Weird feeling at the park. The bottom of the second, we had a steal of home, 2 guys waiting at third base, a guy scoring with Rollins back to the play at the plate, 90 feet away, and then Ronnie Cedeno out at the plate in the collision with the tag coming about 10 seconds after the collision to end the inning.
Add to that a pickoff of Michael Barrett to end the bottom of the first inning by Molina.
What we're going to see the rest of this day. Watch Neifi Perez. First of all, Molina didn't know where the ball was after he lost it, but in case he needed help, Neifi Perez, there it is, pick it up and tag my guy out. There's a strike to Albert Pujols.
I think what Navy was saying, Ronnie, get up and touch home.
He didn't have the ball.
I've never seen a tag out where a guy was that far away from home plate. He was never within 10 feet of home plate.
1 on, 1 out. No balls, 1 strike on Pujols. Now Taguchi takes off, and Pujols pops it up. Shallow right field near the line. Jones is coming on with a diving catch for out number 2.
I don't think he touched second base on his return.
If he didn't, he's out and the inning's over.
I think Jock Jones is going to tag him, or a right fielder hands the ball to the pitcher. And now they want the play at second base. Taguchi, I believe, rounded the bag, didn't touch the bag on returning to first, and it's going to be a double play, I think.
Well, the entire Cub infield was screaming that Taguchi didn't retouch the bag. Now Maddux is being told by Neifi Perez, just give me the ball and you can have the end of the inning here.
Yeah, I think Maddux will get on the rubber, step off, and then throw it to second base.
Out. Double play. What a day. 2.5 innings complete here at Wrigley Field. And so Taguchi is left stunned, standing at first base. What a great catch by Jock Jones. Had a mile to go. And here's the play at second. He touched once and did not retouch on his way back to first. That double play ends the top of the third. What's next? 2-1.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. Your one-of-a-kind, one-stop shop for everything you could ever want in parts and performance accessories. Everything from lift kits to cool custom accessories is ready for direct-to-your-door delivery or convenient in-store pickup. When you want the most complete selection of parts and accessories, the only place to go is the new special order center in Advance Auto Parts.
We're ready in advance.
You know you make me wanna take my heels off.
Officers? Drink?
You make me wanna lift my head.
Drinking water gives you more energy so you can have more fun. To make your body happy. Drink more water, like new Aquafina Sparkling, bursting with natural flavors. For a tongue-tingling taste and 0 calories, try Aquafina Sparkling.
I think it's ingrained in all Americans to take risks.
Oh, no! Give me another!
If your name is not Ricky Bobby,
He's got 2 first names.
Does that blow your mind?
then you're not him.
I'm on fire! You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby! Help me, Oprah Winfrey!
Will Ferrell.
Ricky Bobby is not a thinker.
I'm a driver.
I am so paralyzed! I could never learn to play guitar.
You don't need your legs to play guitar.
Don't tell me lies!
Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough. Taco Bell's Big Bell Value Menu featuring the spicy chicken burrito with shredded chicken simmered in Mexican spices to keep your stomach and your wallet full. Think outside the bun.
They're 2 of America's top crisis negotiators.
Pick up the phone!
The only thing more explosive than what's ahead of them
Like everybody, I got problems. I got secrets that could hurt me.
is what's between them.
I'm sleeping.
First pitch is swung on by Nafi Perez and fouled back to the screen. Strike 1. It's 2-1 Cubs after 2.5 innings. It's Perez, Michael Barrett, and Aramis Ramirez against Anthony Reyes. He deals low and the count evens 1-1. Reyes is one of the 2 guys that the Cardinals consider off limits. Young pitchers that other teams want if the Cardinals want to make a deal here toward the trading deadline. That's strike 2. And it's Anthony Reyes and Adam Wainwright, a big part of the bullpen this year for Tony La Russa, and a guy that Tony makes no secret about, a guy who will be in the rotation next season for St. Louis. If you want Reyes or Wainwright, so far the answer to that is go somewhere else. There's a short hop and Perez doesn't run and he's out at first. And Nafi Perez is standing there with a bat handle in his hands and never hardly budged out of the box. Are the planets lining up right now?
I was thinking the same thing. Are the planets aligned here?
What's he doing?
Maybe he takes 1 step. The fact that he broke the bat doesn't mean he can't run. It was a short hop by Roland. And Nafi was out by 87 feet.
Here's Barrett. He takes a ball down and away. Michael was hit by a pitch, moved to second on a pass ball, but then picked off second base by the Cardinal catcher Molina back in the first. Eckstein gets the true hop. 2 out. When Maddox was at the plate back in the second, Anthony Reyes did the step to third, look to first move. We thought it was a balk. We weren't alone. Here's Gary Matthews, first base coach for the Cubs.
And that was almost a balk move when he faked the third. Okay, tell him to watch it, because if you look at it on a replay, he only stepped a little bit. As a matter of fact, he could have went home in the same spot.
And the reason we said it at the time, and the reason Gary says it there, is you have to step directly over to third base, and Reyes was about down the middle.
Well, that's why he picked the runner off first base. When you're a runner at first base, something is wrong. You could see when he lifts that leg right there, he's committed to going home, and that's why the runner at first was nailed.
There's a pitch outside, ball 3 to Ramirez.
And him, when Gary was talking to Chris Spire, talking about him, he was talking about Ed Montague, the third base umpire.
On 3-0, Ramirez takes his second walk of the day. And that's the third handed out by Reyes. And it keeps the third inning alive. Our Capital One trivia question as you look at Anthony Reyes, who will now deal with Jock Jones, who's 0 for 1. What pitcher was on the mound for the last out of the Cardinals' last World Series win in 1982? If we went to the poll going through St. Louis right now, it would be at about 92% of people who know the answer to that question. But there's a reason why we ask it. Jock Jones, strike one.
Might be a few Chicago Cub fans who know the answer too.
And there's a reason why they would know something about this guy's career. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Jones grounded out to first, his first time up. And sit up here at no balls, 2 strikes. A few deals yesterday with the trading deadline coming up at 4 Eastern on Monday. The biggest one was Carlos Lee leaving the Milwaukee Brewers and going to Texas for a combination of Lance Nix, Francisco Cordero, and Kevin Mench. Jones grounds to Luna. On a short hop, flips to Eckstein, and we go into the 4th inning. Jim Edmonds is coming up for the Cardinals, due up 3rd in the 4th. 2-1 Chicago.
As you can see on my chart here, sales have exceeded.
What is that?
Small business owner. They come in looking for loans.
But we only care about big business.
Our cash. Whoa. Our cash.
Do they normally catch on fire like that? Yeah, let's get some lunch.
Does your bank think small about your small business? Call Capital One instead for no-hassle business loans, lines of credit, and credit cards.
Hello, Capital One.
What's in your wallet? Oh, I want a loan. I want a loan.
Whoa, 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 what are you doing? No, get this out of here. This is the Stackers Union, kid. We stack meat and cheese. Meat and cheese. No veggies. Wake up, pretty boy. Oh, early bun delivery. Hey, Toots! Feisty. I like that.
New BK Stacker, bacon and cheese on flame broiled beef. Stack it high, tough guy.
Let me guess, more Albert Pujols stuff?
He's the best.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
What am I, chopped liver? I hit 714 home runs.
Come on, the Wizard of Oz stole 580 bases.
In my day, we didn't have bases. We had rocks.
What?
Hey, I played in 2,632 straight games.
Well, I ate 2,632 hot dogs. Can I get an amen from the bobbleheads?
DHL and MLB give you the chance to vote for your team's greatest. It's Hometown Heroes. Go to MLB.com now.
Are you getting enough fiber? Goodyear's new Eagle Response Edge gives you more of what you crave. The added performance of carbon fiber. A carbon fiber reinforced sidewall creates added stability for sharp maneuvering and a better feel for the road. While a shock-absorbing insulator delivers a smooth, quiet ride. The new Goodyear Eagle Response Edge. Getting your fiber has never been so fun. Innovation on the wings of Goodyear.
Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Burger King to remind you to have it your way. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by DHL, who reminds you to vote for your team's greatest with MLB Hometown Heroes. Text the letters DHL to 55222. 4th inning, it will be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Cardinals. Roland, Encarnacion, and Edmonds. And way out in front of that pitch from Maddox is Scott Rolen, who has the Cardinals RBI with a 2-out single in the 1st. On 0-1, Rolen takes wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike 2 on Roland. Great pitching matchup here tomorrow for the finale of the 4-game set. Carlos Zambrano, who is 11-3 and red hot, against Chris Carpenter, last year's Cy Young Award winner for St. Louis, and he's just as hot. Zambrano's 111, Carpenter is 110, and Carpenter a 2.68 ERA, undefeated in July. And It's down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And I would say if you add Tom Glavine and Brandon Webb to the mix, one of those 4 will be a Cy Young Award winner here in 2006 in the NL. Still 2-2. First 6 starts for Carlos, and 11-1 in his last 16, and he's hit 4 home runs, which is only 2 shy of the Cubs single season mark held by Fergie Jenkins, who hit 6 in 1971. The 2-2. Just outside. Maddox doesn't get the call. Full count.
Talked about it in our scouting report that Greg Maddox has to get pitches like this for him to be effective. Called outside.
Barrett sets up back there again, and Roland chops it to Cedeno. Very talented shortstop, takes care of Roland, 1 away. Capital One trivia question. Who was on the mound when the Cardinals won their last World Series in 1982? The answer, Bruce Sutter, who struck out Gorman Thomas, with Darrell Porter raising his fist into the air and throwing his mask. And Bruce, who pitched for these 2 organizations, will be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame in Cooperstown tomorrow.
And our congratulations to Bruce and to the 17 other players and executives from the Negro Leagues, and prior to when the Negro Leagues were formed in 1920, formed by Rube Foster, who is in the Hall of Fame.
Encarnacion pops it up foul down the right side and out of play by the Cardinal bullpen. Mention the name Bruce Sutter and you think of the Chicago Cub closer. And from Chicago to St. Louis. With the Cubs from 76 to 80 and with the Cardinals from 81 to 84. Part of that great bullpen mix for Whitey Herzog. The world champion Cardinals, and there's that pitch, 1982. First pitcher to go into the Hall of Fame who never started a game in the big leagues. Strike 2 on Encarnacion.
And there are some Cub fans here in Chicago and throughout the country that are upset and dismayed that Bruce is going in wearing a Cardinal cap. But that is not his decision. It's the decision of the Hall of Fame, not Bruce Sutter.
Here's a 1-2 to Encarnacion. Maddox strikes him out. That's his 3rd of the day. 2 out here in the 4th, and let's check in again with Jeannie Zalasko.
Mike Napoli learning a few baseball lessons. It's tough to score from second base on a shot to Manny Ramirez. Here's another lesson. Manny's arm works, and Jason Veritek puts a vacuum seal on home plate. You are out. Still tied at 6, top 11.
So a good game in Boston with the Red Sox clinging to a half-game lead over the Yankees. Edmonds takes strike 1.
There again, Jason Veritek trying to seal the outside lane against the runner. If more runners came to the inside part of the plate, there'd be fewer collisions like that and more guys would score.
In that game, Jared Weaver, who made the start for the Angels, got a no decision. He has not tasted a loss in the big leagues yet, and his older brother Jeff started and pitched into the 6th inning, the first game of this 4-game set at Wrigley. Here's the 0-2. Edmonds strikes out. He knew it. Didn't have to wait around for Mark Wegner to call him out. 4 strikeouts for Maddox. Bottom of the 4th inning rolls in. Cubs coming up, leading 2-1.
This is Duralast, the battery built to exceed the need. Built to last, Duralast. Engineered with all the cranking power you need for extreme conditions. Duralast. Built with exclusive power frame technology for greater vibration resistance. Engineered to guard against acid leaks and corrosion. And a coast-to-coast warranty. Get the battery built to exceed the need. And for a limited time, get an AutoZone gift card with purchase. Duralast. Only at AutoZone.
Baby Ruth is the candy bar for baseball guys. Guys who like peanuts, nougat, and caramel every bit as much as a Grand Slam. And if you're a woman who likes that stuff, want to go to a ball game? Baby Ruth from Nestle, official candy bar of Major League Baseball.
Well, it's been a long day for Strahan. What a lovely shot. Yeah! Hey, maybe it's your deodorant. Let's start over. No, this time start with new Right Guard Sport Deodorant, now packed with even more scent. Right Guard, start right and right.
What would it take to keep your personal financial information safe? A ferocious guard dog? A great white shark? A man-eating tiger? Any of them will do thanks to Bank of America's Site Key. Just choose a picture and title. We'll show them to you when you sign on so you know you're securely on our site, not some look-alike. So if you'll feel safer, protected by a fearsome grizzly bear, we've got you covered. Open a checking account and experience higher standards in checking, only from Bank of America.
And as you'll see from our third quarter earnings, our performance is on the rise.
It's amazing. He didn't even flinch. Yeah, typical cage fighter. What? He does this as a sideline. He'd rather be gouging somebody in the eye or putting his knee in somebody's kidney. Dead? Yeah, he has a bumper sticker that says, "I'd rather have you in a chokehold." He's like 5'7". He's a bad man.
Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution. We go into the bottom of the fourth inning. Mabry, Pagan, and Ronnie Cedeno. 6, 7, and 8 hitters, and a ball outside from Anthony Reyes, who has so far allowed 3 hits. All 3 coming in that 2-run second for Chicago. 2-0. Mabry drew a walk his first time and scored on the hit by Cedeno. And by the way, there was an official scorer's ruling change. They gave 2 stolen bases on that double steal back in the second. There's a 1-hopper to Luna. Wide throw, but out. Oh, now safe as Pujols came off the bag. La Russa starts out of the dugout. Pujols looks over in his direction, and La Russa's going to go argue. First base umpire is Marvin Hudson. And Tony La Russa sure looked like he was on the bag, but
it appeared that he was. Sometimes if a first baseman's on the inside part of the bag, the first base umpire, because he's positioned right there, can't make the call. Where was Pujols' right foot? It was right there. Wasn't on the inside of the bag. No, I think he did. I think he did come off the bag.
I don't think we've seen anything to definitively say one way or the other he was on it or off it. Pujols didn't put up a big argument, looked in La Russa's direction, and that look, it looks like he was off.
Off and then came back with a heel, but Mabry had already crossed first base.
So it's an error on Luna. Mabry is on, and the batter is Angel Pagan here in the fourth inning. Pagan shows bunt, takes a ball. Pagan singled, stole a base, scored a run in the second.
I don't think it's a good play to bunt with your 7th place hitter, because you got your 8th place hitter and your pitcher coming up. So why bunt a runner over for those guys? I think that was a fake right there.
And now Pagan pops it up into left center field for Taguchi. 1 on, 1 out. Cardinals were complaining on the play at first base similar to that, with a pitcher running down the line, and what followed with 2 out was a bases clearing triple hit by Juan Pierre, which was the difference in the game. But to this point in the season series, the Cubs have simply outplayed the Cardinals here at Wrigley Field,
winning 2 one-run games, and the Cubs have been terrible in one-run games this year.
Cedeno fouls it off Molina. It takes a bite out of Yadier on its way back to the screen.
Yadier does have protection in the shoulders, but sometimes that protection is for naught. That appeared to get him on the point, and boy, does that hurt.
One on, 1 out, a 1 pitch. Molina smothers it, a check swing, and they say that Ronnie Cedeno didn't go around. Didn't appear he did. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the big reasons that chest protector is not thicker is because you've got to maintain flexibility. Otherwise, it would be as thick as the old bubble that an umpire uses. But you've got to be able to throw with it. You've got to be able to maneuver with it, make tags at home. get out from behind the plate to field bunts.
Change up from Reyes, strike 2. And I know you've paid attention to the equipment advances for catchers. That is more of a molded chest protector that these big league catchers now have, where they mold it around the body and make it fit a little better than something that was a little more square. When you were playing, here's a pop-up on the infield, and Pujols will haul it in, 2 down. Let's go back to that play at first to start this inning, and Gary Matthews wearing the microphone.
No, 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 yeah! That a baby!
So no, yeah, saying he wasn't on the bag, and yeah, thanks for the call. You got it right. And it sure looked like on that last replay that Marvin Hudson did. 1 on, 2 down. Maddox chops one to Luna. High bounce, inning over, and we go into the 5th. Cardinals will send the bottom 3 in their lineup as they trail Chicago 2-1.
Pickup and SUV. Gasoline and E85 ethanol. Haul and tow. The all-new 2007 Chevy Avalanche, the most flexible vehicle out there.
The roaming gnome, enforcer of the Travelocity Guarantee.
Uh-oh, all is not well. I must tell them. Good morning.
Hello. Speaking?
So, you're calling to help me rebook?
Because the hotel pool's under construction?
Oh, dear.
Wow.
The Travelocity Guarantee. Looking out for you even before you go.
Ooh, tingly.
I think it happens to a lot of guys over 50. See, I was always going during the movies and hating to stand up, going during a presentation and hating to stand out.
Speeches for you this afternoon.
And once I got there, I had trouble going, and I was going 3 times a night. I said to my doctor, I have a going problem. He said, you have a growing problem. It's not your bladder. Your prostate is growing. See, I had an enlarging prostate. My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Most medicines only treat symptoms. Avodart, with time, actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go and go less often.
Only your doctor can tell if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition such as prostate cancer, so have regular prostate exams. Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to the risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely, sexual side effects, tenderness, or swelling of the breast can occur. Call your doctor today. Avodart for your growing problem.
On August 25th, discover how an ordinary bartender tried to become the most unlikely rookie in NFL history. Invincible, inspired by a true story. Rated PG.
Here in Chicago at Wrigley Field, this game has been nothing if not entertaining. We go to the 5th inning, 2-1. The Cubs out in front, and Hector Luna fouls the first pitch, strike 1. Luna, Molina, and Anthony Reyes for St. Louis, desperately trying to get their first win in Chicago. 0-5 here at Wrigley, 0-3 against the White Sox. What a big swing and connect they got last night from Ross Glode with a grand slam for the White Sox to snatch victory from defeat against the Orioles in a game that they really needed. Luna into right center field and to his right. Jack Jones hauls it in, 1 out. Yadier Molina will come to the plate. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, is proud to present this week's clutch performance. Last night in Baltimore, the White Sox were trailing 4-2. Top of the 9th inning, Ross Glode, the game-winning grand slam for Chicago. First home run in more than a year. Sox had lost 10 of 12 since the break. More Pepsi Clutch performances can be found at PepsiClutch.MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Be sure to watch for the Pepsi Clutch performance each week on Fox. That's PepsiClutch.MLB.com.
That was the 8th Grand Slam of the year for the White Sox. That is an organizational record.
None bigger than that.
No.
They have their hands full with the Tigers and now the Twins.
Wow.
And the Yankees and the Red Sox and everybody else in that pool of teams trying to get to the postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike on Molina, who grounded out to short his first time up. That's foul. Strike 2. 1-2. Maddox with his typical pace, and Anthony Reyes for the most part has matched his pace with getting it and throwing it. It's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, it is. Anthony Reyes with 9 career starts. Greg Maddox with 660.
2-2. It is still amazing to think back to the offseason after the '92 year. To think that the Cubs would let Greg Maddox walk away.
And to think that the Yankees didn't sign him.
Braves did, and good for them as Molina becomes the second out here in the 5th. These two starters are definitely worlds apart. Reyes in age has him beat. Maddox has him beat in starts. Obviously wins, Cy Youngs. Style, I don't know. That's a toss-up.
I remember one voice wanting the Cubs to sign Maddox. How can the Cubs not sign Greg Maddox?
I mean, for the rest of the world, here's a 26-year-old guy pitching in Wrigley Field. He's 20-11 with a 2.18 ERA, and Harry Carey and the rest of baseball were shocked that Maddox ended up signing with Atlanta. Reaching the prime of his career. He spent 11 seasons with the Braves before coming back here to Chicago in 04. And again, something we talked about at the beginning of the day. He could be making his last start for the Cubs right here, right now, with the trading deadline coming up on Monday, and interest, if he's willing to waive his no trade clause, for Maddox to go to New York or San Diego or LA or wherever. 1-2. Inning over. Maddox is dealing. He's got 5 strikeouts. It's halfway through this one on a Saturday at Wrigley. Cubs still lead it 2-1.
Better health. Sometimes it's in the genes, but as often as not, it's connected to the quality of the information you have at hand. And that's what makes WebMD America's most trusted health information source. It's a place where people find information they could never get their hands on before, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can make the connection between better information and better health. WebMD.
Dear Quiznos, we the undersigned ask you to cease and desist sale of your new smokehouse beef brisket sub.
Because it encroaches upon our long-established recipes and intellectual property.
Please comply forthwith. Thank you.
Introducing Quiznos Toasted Smokehouse Beef Brisket Sub. A double portion of premium beef, slow-roasted, mesquite smoked, topped with real cheddar and a sweet, smoky sauce. The new Smokehouse Beef Brisket Sub, now only from Quiznos. Eat up.
Another day, another billion in big business loans.
Yeah, sir, there's something on your shoe.
Good morning. If I could just have a minute of your time, we'll see that my business
owner.
We're planning to double our...
Give me a pencil.
For the last 2 days.
What's he want? A loan or something?
Hey, oh! Look, he's got a business plan.
Does your bank think small about your small business? Call Capital One instead for no-hassle business loans, lines of credit, and credit cards.
Hello, Capital One.
What's in your wallet?
This is Duralast, the battery built to exceed the need. Engineered with all the cranking power you need for extreme conditions. And for a limited time, get an AutoZone gift card with purchase. Only at AutoZone.
Baby Ruth is a great tasting candy bar. And when you have peanuts, nougat, and caramel, you don't need bells and whistles. All right, here's one whistle. But no bells. Baby Ruth from Nestle, official candy bar of Major League Baseball.
Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by WebMD. Better information, better health. By Baby Ruth from Nestle. Savor the official candy bar of Major League Baseball. and by the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Top of the order will bat here for Chicago, leading by 1. And that means Pierre, Neifi Perez, and Michael Barrett. Juan Pierre was part of the Florida Marlins team that came in here to Chicago and won Game 6 and 7 to break the heart of Cub fans back in 2003 when the Marlins went on to beat the Yankees in the World Series, and the Cubs were left to wonder what might have been, trying to get to their first World Series since 1945. And you look at the lineup and some of the names that were a part of that team: Moises Alou, Kenny Lofton, Sosa in right. Ramirez is still here. Gonzalez long gone. Grudzielanek, Eric Karras, and Damian Miller. That's down into the right field corner. Juan Pierre is staying hot. That thing will rattle around, and Pierre will scoot over to third base with a leadoff triple. His second in as many days, and a good start to the 5th inning for Chicago.
That's the one thing the Chicago Cubs organization has lacked over the years is speed, and Juan Pierre gives the Cubs that element, an easy triple, and that's a hit that you don't normally say was easy.
Once it ended up down off that wagon gate area and right where some fans can peek through and watch the action. It was the triple, a no-doubter, and now a pop-up. Out beyond short off the bat of Perez, 1 out. Let's go for an update. Here's Kevin Kennedy in the Fox Network Center.
Thanks, Joe. Now, wouldn't you know it would come down to this? David Ortiz, we talked about in the pregame show, 23 game-winning RBIs. Now, today he makes it 24 game-winning RBIs since he's come to Boston in 3.5 years. Joe, Tim?
Thank you, Kev. And that's there's a guy who was hitting it where they ain't. They got the shift, and he hits a little ground ball through the left side, and that for the moment puts the Yankees a full game out in the AL East.
Whatever it takes for the greatest clutch hitter in the game right now.
And one of the best you've ever seen.
Yes.
Michael Barrett now with Pierre at third and 1 away. Barrett hits it to third, base hit. Down the line, in to score is Juan Pierre. It's a 2-run lead. Throw to second by Taguchi is no good. And Barrett has delivered his 40th RBI of the year. A triple and then a 1-out double by Michael Barrett. It's 3-1 Chicago.
Before Michael came to the Cubs 4 years ago, he was batting about 195 for the Oakland Athletics. And here he is, the leader on the Cubs team, entering the game today batting close to 330, and he doubles in the third Cub run.
Here's a guy, Barrett, who's hitting 360, right in that neighborhood since that brawl that he had with the Chicago White Sox and A.J. Pierzynski on the 20th of May. Went through his 10-game suspension, and he has come out on the other end red hot. Now it's Barrett at second, 1 out for Ramirez, and next Saturday our coverage begins at 1 Eastern, noon Central. You'll be in New York for the Phillies and the Mets. The Braves will be at Cincinnati. Also at 3 Central, 1 Pacific, the Rangers at the Angels and the A's at the Mariners. Check local listings for the game in your area. Here is Ramirez, who has walked twice. Hasn't seen a strike all day until now. 3-1 Cubs in the 5th, and they're playing behind Greg Maddux. The right-hander from Whittier, California, Anthony Reyes brings it. Molina out to smother it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's right. Anthony was a teammate of Mark Pryor at the University of Southern California. USC producing 2 fine pitchers out of that class.
And somebody that Anthony Reyes has called upon for some guidance. Life in the big leagues is Mark Pryor. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at second, 1 out. And that somehow missed the body of Aramis Ramirez. 2-1.
That was a changeup off the plate. That was very close. That would have hit the old uniforms. The old flannel uniforms that used to be so baggy gave hitters like Ramirez an advantage.
Here's a 2-1. 3 balls and a strike. How about flannel on a day like this?
Oh, I was just thinking, I mean, there was nothing more insufferable than those old flannel uniforms. Whoever came up, and they were in vogue for like 70 years. They were awful.
3-1 on Ramirez. Back to second and safe is Barrett, who's already been picked off once. Just back in ahead of the tag of Luna.
Reyes turning the other way, and Luna in, and the tag is high, but Barrett just beat it.
And Barrett is slow to recover after that tag. Trainer started out there, and Barrett doesn't tell him to stay or go. Trainer's going to come out and check on Michael Barrett anyway, and we'll go to an interview we did during the break with manager Dusty Baker of the Cubs. Well, Dusty Baker, have you ever seen a weirder second inning than we saw here moments ago? Man, we saw a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, isn't that the truth? I mean, I was asking somebody on the bench, is this Twilight Zone? Because it felt like the Twilight Zone. I mean, that was some of the weirdest happenings in baseball since I've been in baseball.
How can you explain how your team has played this season against St. Louis? Because so far the Cardinals have not only not won any games here, but your team has outplayed them every game.
Well, sometimes there is no explanation. I mean, everybody, you know, has a nemesis. I mean, ours earlier in the year with San Diego, they beat us 7 in a row. We didn't beat them at all, so it's hard to explain sometimes why you beat somebody and don't beat somebody else. I mean, I don't have any explanation for it, but one thing's for sure, I'm not going to start questioning it and doubting it. Just going to accept it.
This is our first time to chat since Jim Hendry came out and said, Dusty, safe for the rest of the year, but I know you. It's got to be a relief in some regard, but you want to continue on here, don't you? I mean, forget this year. There's more to be done.
Well, exactly. I mean, this year, boy, I mean, everything that could happen happened, and you know, I came here to win. I came here to bring a championship to Northside Chicago, and that's what I still plan on doing.
You're always nice to talk to us. Thanks, Dusty.
All right, see you guys later.
All right. And what should be said is Dave Duncan, who goes out to the mound right now to talk to Reyes, with Randy Flores getting ready for the Cardinals in their bullpen. Tony La Russa was to join us in the 4th inning. We had some technical difficulties, so Tony, who was also very nice to join us on the telecast whenever we have a Cardinal game, was ready to go, and we just had an issue and could not record it. So both managers talking to us, both managers in different spots. Cardinals 3.5 games up, and the Cubs are thinking about next year. Here is Jock Jones with 2 on and 1 out. As Reyes deals, strike 1. Our auto zone strike zone as we play here in the 5th inning. Talking about first pitch strikes. There's a difference between these two. Reyes only 9 of 23. 9 of the 23 batters faced. Two on with 1 out. Jones hits it to second. Double play ball. Luna, Eckstein. Off we go into the bottom of the 5th. The double play bails Anthony Reyes out of trouble. 6th inning rolls in. The Cardinals will have the top of their order, including Albert Pujols, due up 3rd. A run in the inning for Chicago, and they lead it
3-1. What would it take to keep your personal financial information safe? A ferocious guard dog? A great white shark? A man-eating tiger? Any of them will do, thanks to Bank of America's Site Key. Just choose a picture and title. We'll show them to you when you sign on, so you know you're securely on our site, not some look-alike. So if you'll feel safer, protected by a fearsome grizzly bear, we've got you covered. Open a checking account and experience higher standards in checking, only from Bank of America.
you spend more time behind the wheel than you want. And that often, what really needs refueling is you. How do we know you like fast better than slow? And that a friendly place to stop along the way can make a big difference in your life? How do we know? It's really very simple. The human touch and 1,000 other things you need. We're Exxon. We're mobile. We're drivers too.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC.
And I'm a PC too.
And what?
Yeah, see, now you can run Mac OS X or Windows on a Mac. So in a way, I'm kind of like the only computer you'll ever need.
Ah, touche.
No, I don't think you're using that right.
Touche.
No, listen, see, you can only say touche if you make a point, then I make a counterpoint, you see? So I said I run Windows, but you haven't made a point yet. Let's try it again. You can get a Mac and still run all your Windows stuff.
Touche.
Never mind.
Well, it's been a long day for Strahan.
What a lovely shot.
Hey, maybe it's your deodorant. Let's start over. No, this time start with new Right Guard Sport Deodorant, now packed with even more scent. Right Guard, start right and right.
David Eckstein, top of the order for the Cardinals, facing Maddox, who has pitched very well now into the 6th inning. And whatever scouts are here today will have to send a very favorable report to their team they represent if they're here to watch Greg Maddox. And I'll tell you this, of a lot of the names that I see on that veteran list of pitchers like Livan Hernandez and Maddox and some of the others, Lieber, I'm not so sure I wouldn't tap Maddox as my guy because of the experience. 1 out to start the 6th inning. It is a warm day here at Wrigley Field with So Taguchi coming up. Cardinal and Cub fans packed into Wrigley Field. And they have seen a lot of action. 95 degrees here at the start of today's game. Here's Taguchi. Strike one.
If Maddox is traded, I think it would make more sense for him to go to a National League team. And the reason I say that is that National League umpires are more familiar with Greg. Of course, that used to be the case, but now the umpires have been going within the league to the American League and to the National League. So it's not a set of an American League umpires versus National League umpires. But I think the guys that do National League games are much more familiar with his style and would be more comfortable behind the plate knowing what Maddox needs as a pitcher, particularly that front corner.
1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on. Maddox strikes out Taguchi.
That one, that pitch right there is how Maddox can help a pitcher.
That is 6 strikeouts against no walks, and he's allowed only 4 hits.
That's a front corner fastball. Goes over the front corner, a little tail on it. That is vintage Greg Maddox.
Here's Pujols. And a monster blast foul. Out beyond the friendly confines and onto Waveland.
Home run in around park.
0-1 the count on Pujols, who has singled, stolen a base, and scored the only run of the day for St. Louis. You can talk about velocity for Maddox. He can do more with less than most pitchers. And if you compare him just to Livan Hernandez, who a lot of teams are evidently still hot on, Hernandez has got a bad knee and is due $7 million next year. I don't think there's a comparison between the two. That's foul. And out of play. Strike 2 on Pujols. So if the Mets are so into adding another starter, whether it's Zito if they reach high, or if it's Livan Hernandez, why wouldn't you send the Cubs a prospect and take a guy with 326 career victories and 11 career postseason wins? The World Series title with Atlanta back in '95. Pujols gets under it, floats it into left field, and assuring all the Cub fans in attendance that all is okay, Angel Pagan hauls it in. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Maddox pitching well. 3-1 Chicago.
What's your favorite brand, America?
Chevrolet. We love baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Stolen bases, goat cheese, pizza, bottled water, and Chevrolet.
Stolen bases, goat cheese, pizza, bottled water, and Chevrolet.
Free agents, rally monkeys, fancy leagues, and Chevrolet.
Whoa, wait, what's a rally monkey?
They go together in the good old USA. Face painters, satellite radio, endorsement deals, and Chevrolet.
Chevy, an American revolution.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough.
I'm full!
Taco Bell's Big Bell Valley menu with filling items like the Grande Soft Taco with double the beef. To keep your stomach and your wallet full, think outside the bun.
Don't pick your nose. I'm scratching. What are you scratching, your brain? Yeah, because it's huge.
Now on DVD.
Hello, weird guy!
The game isn't over until the big nerd swings.
Dang it.
The Benchwarmers. Buy it now on DVD and Blu-ray.
I look like a mummy.
You know you make me wanna take my heels off.
Officers? Drink?
You make me wanna lift my head.
Drinking water gives you more energy, so you can have more fun. To make your body happy, drink more water. Like new Aquafina Sparkling, bursting with natural flavors. For a tongue-tingling taste and 0 calories, try Aquafina Sparkling.
This fall, television's biggest thrills are all on one night. The new Fox Monday. First, Prison Break is back with a new season.
I will gun you down, Snowfield!
The greatest manhunt in history is on. The return of Prison Break. Then, what begins with an abduction
Do whatever it takes to get my wife back.
will unveil a centuries-old conspiracy. Be there before the secrets get out. The premiere of Vanished after Prison Break, Monday, August 21st. The new fall season starts first on Fox.
Finding his socks on the floor. The newlyweds. The not-so-newlyweds. Emmy winner Brad Garrett in Till Death. A new comedy coming Thursdays, Fox Fall.
Bottom of the 6th inning, John Mabry is up against Anthony Reyes, who has pitched well. And Mabry takes the ball to get the bottom of the 6th inning underway. 3-1 Chicago out in front. 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, driven in by Barrett. And here's a 1-0. Good fastball from Anthony Reyes. 1 ball, 1 strike. We talk about deals, and one of these two teams is in contention for the postseason. Talking to Tony La Russa before the game, what the Cardinals might be looking for. He said to be realistic, probably not in the running for the big names like Zito or Soriano. Carlos Lee already went to Texas yesterday. However, there are some pieces we can add, whether it's a left-hander in the bullpen or it's more of a, not a frontline guy, but somebody to bolster the lineup and play in the outfield. Said if it helps us a little bit, we're already pretty good. What can the harm be? But that's kind of what the Cardinals' attitude is here with the trading deadline approaching on Monday. You can probably take them off the list of teams involved for some of the big names out there. There is ball 4, a leadoff walk. Will send Mabry to first, and that's 5 walks handed out by Reyes.
Yeah, the Cardinals trying to incrementally better themselves. It won't be a bombshell like they landed several years ago when they hired and signed Larry Walker of the Colorado Rockies. But a reliever in particular, I think, would help the Cardinals because of their softness in their starting pitching. Mark Mulder still on the disabled list. He's about 10 days to 2 weeks away.
I think the Cardinals will look at the return of Mulder like it's adding somebody at the trading deadline. He's been out for a little over a month. Hasn't pitched since he faced the White Sox here in June. And he is going to throw a simulated game on Tuesday and may after that head out on a rehab assignment and work his way back into the rotation. That would be a big lift for this Cardinal team. Now it's 2-0 on Pagan. And action will start for the Cardinals in their bullpen. Second base is a spot where they could find somebody who could give them some innings. You hear the name Loretta if the Boston Red Sox end up with Julio Lugo, a guy that they've been talking about for the last year with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing unfolds leading to the deadline on Monday.
Yeah. That deadline used to be June 15th. Now it's more interesting in that it's July 31st because you're a lot deeper into the season.
Here's a 2-0 to Pagan. The control just is not there today for Reyes, and that's something that's not usually a problem for this right-hander. Here comes Dave Duncan to talk and buy some time for Hancock, who's getting loose. We look back, and June 15th, 1964 is the date of the big trade. Ernie Broglio for Lou Brock. Some other players were involved, but those are the main names. And you know what Brock went on to do. Part of the great teams of the 60s with the Cardinals, 3,000 hits. For a while, the stolen base king, the base burglar, Lou Brock.
Two of the worst trades in the history of the game. Milt Pappas for Frank Robinson in the winter of 1965, and as Joe said, in June of '64, Lou Brock and Jack Spring coming to the Cardinals for Ernie Broglio, Bobby Shantz, and Doug Clemens.
There's a strike to make it 3-1 on Pagan. And our good friend Bing Devine was involved making that deal. Lou Brock is still in St. Louis and very active as an ambassador for the Cardinals. 3-1 pitch to the second baseman Luna. Eckstein in the middle. Safe at first. 4-6 on the force out. Eckstein could not get it over to Pujols in time to complete the double play.
Albert tried to cheat as much as he could. That Pagan can fly. In 2002, he had 62 stolen bases. With Pujols coming off the bag prematurely, he was safe anyway. It's about the only thing that Eckstein cannot do at second base on a play like that. His arm's just not strong enough to complete the double play.
So now it's 1-on, 1-out. Reyes fighting to stay in this game, and Ronnie Cedeno is at the plate with Maddox on deck. 3-1 Chicago, bottom of the 6th. And the Cardinals will keep their eye on Angel Pagan, who has stolen one base this season.
Yeah, normally with the bottom part of the order, you don't steal in this situation. But with someone warming for the Cubs right now, if Cedeno gets a hit, first and third, 1 out, they pinch hit for Maddox. If Cedeno makes an out, I think Greg will hit for himself.
Reyes, for a big right-hander, has shown here today that he is pretty agile on the mound and moves around well with that pickoff throw back at second and the way he can get it over to first in a hurry.
Quick feet for a big man.
Number 10 on the all-time strikeout list for pitchers at USC. He is ready. Pagan not running, and Cedeno takes the ball.
That's a tight pitch that would have been a strike for Greg Maddox. But when you walk 5 on the afternoon, you're not going to get that pitch. The close ones go to the guy who's always around the plate.
Fastball by the bat of Cedeno. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ronnie has a world of talent. Young shortstop for Chicago. Got off to a great start with a bat. Was hitting .320 on May the 6th, but only .216 since. He can make the dynamic play at short. The 1-1 pitch is off the end of the bat. It was thinking about coming back fair. It bounces foul 1-2. Tampa Bay is pounding on the Yankees 11-4. Oakland now leading at home over Toronto. It has not been a good July for Cedeno.
Talked about Yadier Molina and thinking right. And when a right-handed hitter, when you tell a young hitter that to think right, that means literally to think right field. You try to make it as clear as you can. You say, when you think left, you're wrong, so think right. Baseball, like any learning process, is a series of restatements, and sometimes it takes years.
One on, one out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Cedeno floats one into center field. Edmonds is coming on. He'll play it on a hop. And Pagan is at second. 2 on with 1 out. And Greg Maddux will go down and talk to Chris Spire, his third base coach, with 2 on and 1 away, and see what they want to do. And we give you today's Burger King home field advantage. Earlier in the year, we saw young Chase Maddux throwing to his dad. 40-year-old Greg is seated in a chair catching his kid down in the bullpen. You can see with this pitch that I'm sure with those genetics he's got a nice career ahead of him. That's Chase Maddux.
Looks like his dad.
Burger King, have it your way. Two on with 1 out. And Maddux, who is very good at handling the bat at the plate. Ball 1. We saw that Yankee Tampa Bay score in that game. Randy Johnson lasted only 3 1/3 innings, allowed 6 runs. 9 total, 6 earned runs on the day for Randy Johnson. The Yankees don't know what to expect from start to start. The bunt is perfect for Rolen. Out at first, and the runners advance to second and third, 2 down.
Right-handed batter, or a left-hander for that matter, tries to get the third baseman to field the ball, and they did. And what an ovation. The realization that might have been his last at bat here at Wrigley Field.
Very little to do with a bunt, but everything to do with the career of Greg Maddux and what he's given these Cub fans over the years. Nice moment for Greg as the runners advance to second and third, 2 out for Juan Pierre, who's 2 out of 3 today, swinging a hot bat. And he took the end off that bat. Strike 1. You know, I was wondering, it'd be interesting to find out if you could, and I don't know how you would tally it, how many of the 326 career wins have been put on the record of Greg Maddux because either A, he made a good play on the mound with his 15 Gold Gloves, or came up with a big hit, or he dropped down a bunt at a key time to add to a lead. I mean, he does so many other things other than just nip at the corners of the strike zone to give himself a chance to win.
All the other things have certainly helped in a big way.
21-year career, 3,100 plus strikeouts. He has 6 today. Second and third, 2 out, 0-1 on Juan Pierre. Tony La Russa sticking with his rookie right-hander and giving him a chance to get through this 6th. In the 7th, it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Cardinals, who will be trailing by at least 2. One ball, 1 strike. There is not a pitcher on that Cardinals staff that's scared to bounce a ball into the dirt with a runner at third with Yadier Molina behind home plate. Everything is available to the pitcher, every pitch he's got, because they believe Molina is going to make the play. Here's a 1-1. 2-1.
You don't want to pitch to Pierre in this situation. He's been the Cubs' hottest hitter over the last 2 months. But with a young pitcher like that, if he walks Pierre, you may have to take him out of the game. Because if you leave him in the game, you don't trust him to throw strikes with the bases loaded. That's why they're pitching to Juan Pierre.
That misses inside. 3-1. That decision may be coming here shortly. And now Molina wants to talk with Hancock still getting loose in the bullpen.
Wrigley Field built back in 1914, and it still has the warm-up mounds on the sides of the field. And what that means is if you're the pitcher on the mound, you can hear that popping. You know, in the new stadiums, the bullpens are behind the fences, and a lot of pitchers don't realize it when other guys are warming up, but not in this ballpark. You know when a guy's ready.
The 3-1. Flying into center field, and Edmonds will haul it in. Nice job by Anthony Reyes to get through the inning, and a good moment in the career here at Wrigley for Maddox. 3-1. Back after this from your local Fox station.
Sean Alexander, host of the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show.
Find out when Fox NFL Sunday returns.
It was the perfect setup. Only one problem. They were last year's winners.
Go, go, go!
This year, the payoff is even higher, with Illinois Lottery set for life.
Win cash for a car, a vacation, or win $100,000 every year. The rest of your life.
Send in $30 worth of qualifying non-winning instant or pick-and-play tickets to win. Copy that.
This summer, play set for life.
This is it. It's Ford Model Year Clearance. It's the final days to drive on us with 0% financing. Plus, we pay for your gas until 2007. It's your last chance for 0%. Plus, we pay for your gas until 2007. That's right. You get both. And a no-charge 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. You don't want to miss the best deal of the year. It's the final days. You only have until July 31st to drive on us during Ford Model Year Clearance.
Love and wanna see possibilities.
QC Auto Service Centers, serving the Quad City area for over 30 years.
Hi, this is Dan Elias for QC Auto Service Centers. Let's talk brakes. Do you have to stomp on your brakes to stop?
Ensure your family's safety by driving into any one of our 3 QC Auto Service Centers. Our techs will inspect your vehicle's brakes free. We'll install lifetime guaranteed original equipment, brake pads, and shoes.
For all your vehicle needs, take it to the guys who know how. QC Auto Service Centers. What's stopping you?
Have you been bitten by the dog days of summer?
So hot, so sticky.
Burning, itching, swelling.
It's officially rash season.
4 out of 5 doctors agree.
Doctors, look, I know how I feel.
Fox 18's Laugh Out Loud lineup is the cure for what ails you.
Well, Kitty, who are you going to believe? Some quack doctor, or the man who stood by you while you delivered our children?
Oh, you did not? You went out for a sob.
Get your daily 2-hour treatment every weekday starting at 5 on Fox 18.
Feeling better already.
Laugh Out Loud with Seinfeld. Weeknights at 10:05 on Fox 18.
Scott Rowland first up for St. Louis here in the 7th inning. 3-1. Chicago leading it. Maddox has retired 10 straight. Rowland has the game's only RBI for the Cardinals with a base hit into center back in the first. Encarnacion will follow, and then Edmonds. There is a strike, and it's 0-2. Maddox defeated the Mets on Monday. He had gone 7 starts without a victory and had lost 6 decisions in a row. He beat the Mets, and now he's turning in a great start here against St. Louis. Rowland hits it down into the left field corner. One hop into the ivy and an easy double to start this 7th for St. Louis.
Scott Rowland borrowing a page from Albert Pujols and keeping that inside pitch fair. Pujols can do that. It's just pitch down and in. And Rowland drops the head. And that could be it for Greg Maddux. And what a hand he'll get.
That is it. You will hear it from the crowd here at Wrigley on his way in, but Dusty Baker is at least out to talk here at the start of the conversation. He's got a right-hander and a left-hander getting loose in his bullpen. And he's going to go with the right-hander. Here comes Maddux.
Goodyear knows you're not the only one who depends on your tires. That's why there's the Goodyear Wrangler with Silent Armor technology. It's engineered with a layer made with Kevlar for toughness and a quieter ride. The Goodyear Wrangler with Silent Armor technology, so you can be there on the wings of Goodyear.
As you can see on my chart here, sales have exceeded...
What is that? Small business owner. They come in looking for loans.
But we only care about big business.
Quarter. Our cash... Whoa. Our cash...
Do they normally catch on fire like that? Yeah, let's get some lunch.
Does your bank think small about your small business? Call Capital One instead for no-hassle business loans, lines of credit, and credit cards.
Hello, Capital One?
What's in your wallet?
Oh, I want a loan. I want a loan.
Hey, neighbor. Hey, buddy. Mobile Clean 5000, huh?
This here stuff's the real deal. It protects for 5,000 miles.
Tougher men demand a tougher oil.
Tough stuff.
Mobile Clean 5000. It's the only conventional oil tough enough to guarantee protection of critical engine parts for 5,000 miles.
Hello, ladies.
Mobile Clean 5000. Seriously tough oil.
Welcome to the Stackers Union. We build stacks of meat and cheese. Hey, what's this? A single? We don't do singles!
New BK Stacker. Flame broiled beef, melted cheese, crispy bacon, no veggies. Keep it simple, tough guy.
Well, it's been a long day for Strahan.
What a lovely shot.
Hey, maybe it's your deodorant. Let's start over. No, this time start with new Right Guard Sport Deodorant, now packed with even more scent. Right Guard, start right and right.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. It's your one-of-a-kind one-stop shop for everything from performance parts to cool custom accessories.
Top of the seventh, tying run at the plate for the Cardinals. Encarnacion against Michael Wirtz. Came in and got a huge double play ball off the bat of Albert Pujols in the game on Thursday night. Cardinals had a chance to blow that game open with Pujols up and got a 6-4-3 double play. Now the 0-1 to Encarnacion is fouled back here. 0-2. That was the last appearance for Maddux in the Cubs uniform. You can tell that ovation he got on his way out meant a lot to him. Encarnacion rolling at second, nobody out, and ball one. Maddux said nobody likes to get traded, and then played it down the middle, and I thought gave a great summation of his feelings. If I get traded, okay, I'll go to help. I'll help that team and try to help this organization on my way out. And if I stay, I'm happy to stay. Encarnacion strikes out. Wirtz comes in and gets the strikeout. Rowland still at second, one away, and now we'll see if Ullman is coming in with Edmonds coming up.
I would think so with Jim Edmonds. A 167 batter against left-handed pitching. Michael Barrett out to talk to Wirtz. It's a pretty good sign the left-hander's coming in. I mean, think about it. What an odd situation it puts Greg Maddux in. He's never been traded in the middle of the season. He's never left a team with which he has started.
Out to break up the meeting is Mark Wegner, the home plate umpire, and Edmonds. Find out shortly if he will be facing Wirtz or Will Omen. So far, no sign of Dusty Baker. 41,302 is the attendance.
Sometimes, Joe, you can't go by the numbers, but I think in this situation you can. Wirtz may be a better pitcher, but lefty on lefty clearly is the call right here.
Edmonds fooled with that change of pace from Wirtz. Strike one. It really has been a one-year thing for Edmonds, but as you said, Tim, 167 against left-handed pitching, 304 against right-handers. Had been a career 264 against lefties coming into this season. That's on the inside corner, 0-2. On deck is Hector Luna. And Edmonds is set up for his third strikeout of the day. Ball one. Tying run at the plate. Edmonds 16 home runs on the season. Been getting hot so far in the second half, but slowed today by Greg Maddux. And for the third time today, Edmonds strikes out, 2 away. And the decision by Dusty Baker to keep Wirtz in the game pays off, 2 outs.
Dusty, you keep me in the game, I'll do something about it. And he strikes out Edmonds. Well, that ball had some nasty downward movement. Looks like a splitter from Wirtz to get Jim Edmonds.
Third stint with the Cubs this year for Michael Wirtz, who last year led the Cubs in appearances. Just recently recalled, and now it's Luna. Strike one on Hector Luna. A leadoff double by Roland. He has not moved. 2 out. Little pop up, shallow right field. Neifi Perez is out there. And great work by Michael Wirtz to help the Cubs and Maddux get around the leadoff double. Time to stretch at Wrigley. 3-1, Chicago.
Here's to men, to guys who want to take longer drives with fewer pit stops. And here's to Flomax. It's approved to treat male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also called an enlarged prostate. In 1 week, Flomax may help symptoms like going often, going urgently, weak stream, frequently waking up at night to go. Ask your doctor if symptoms are from BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden decrease in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. To learn more, call 866-4FLOMAX. Ask your doctor. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
Well, it's been a long day for Strahan.
What a lovely shot.
Hey, maybe it's your deodorant. Let's start over. No, this time start with new Right Guard Sport Deodorant, now packed with even more scent. Right Guard, start right and right.
The majestic humpback whale, nature's public speaker.
Will you be hauling 7 tons of sheet metal? Or 70 pounds of plywood? 12,000 pounds of cattle? Or a little something for a do-it-yourself job? We can't be certain how you'll use your GMC Sierra heavy-duty pickup, so we engineered it with the most available horsepower and torque in its class. GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade.
Fox Saturday Baseball, sponsored by Flomax, by Holiday Inn, the official hotel of Major League Baseball, and by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. Good day to be at Wrigley Field or at Navy Pier. Great spot for the kids here in Chicago. Weather is warm but nice. And we just had Take Me Out to the Ball Game performed here at Wrigley by Richard Dent, longtime Chicago Bear. Did a great job and got this crowd on their feet and singing along as Nafy Perez deals with the new pitcher Adam Wainwright. Aaron Miles comes in the game. He'll bat in the number 9 spot. And Wainwright will take over on the mound for Reyes and bat 7th where Luna was. Reyes turned in 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 5 walks, no strikeouts, and hit a bat. And Wainwright, who is the other prized young right-hander the Cardinals have, takes over here in the 7th inning. 3-1 Cubs. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nafy Perez. Barrett will be next, and then Ramirez just sticks the bat out, floats it into left, and Taguchi is there. 1 out. Let's go for an update and say hi again to Jeannie Zalesko.
And we have proof the White Sox bats are heating up in Baltimore. Jermaine Dye adding to the already 8-4 lead with a home run. Next batter would be A.J. Przinsky and says, why not? I'll do the same thing. Back-to-back home runs, 10 for White Sox, and in 4th.
Thank you, Jeannie. So that's good news for White Sox fans here in Chicago, and the White Sox start the day in the wild card standings. A half game out. The Yankees are getting blasted by Tampa Bay, and the White Sox are leading big at Baltimore. Here's a 1-0 to Barrett. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wainwright has a terrific curveball.
And the Minnesota Twins host the Detroit Tigers tonight. Will be Johan Santana going for the Twins. Trying to I beg your pardon. Brad Ratke will be the pitcher this evening.
Here's a base hit into center field off the bat of Barrett. He's on base for the 3rd time today. And Santana will go next for Minnesota. Here are the 3 top of the rotation for the Twins, and since the 8th of June, here's what they've done. And since the 8th of June at the bottom there, that's what the Minnesota Twins have done. 34-9, riding the talent of Santana, Liriano, and Radke. One on, 1 out. Aramis Ramirez takes a ball. So far, Ramirez has walked 3 times.
He's only seen 2 strikes all afternoon.
Good fastball in under the hands of Ramirez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs have won 17 of their last 24 against St. Louis. And leading here by 2 in the 7th inning today. That's a strike on the outside corner. 1-2. So 17-7 against the Cardinals, and during that stretch they've gone 55-89 against the rest of baseball. That's what the Cardinals have done overall in this city, north side and south side. That is fair down into the left field corner. Barrett will dig for 3rd. The throw by Taguchi into 2nd. It's a double for Ramirez. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out.
Oh, hanging slider from Wainwright. We've talked about this in the past, and the more I see games, the more I'm convinced that there are more hanging sliders than any other pitch. Perhaps of all the other pitches together, the slider is worse than hanging a changeup, than hanging a curve, than hanging a fastball, and that can happen. I guess the best definition of a hanger is a pitch which action has stopped in the strike zone, and a slider has a tendency to do that more than any other pitch. It is a dangerous pitch, as Ramirez just proved once again.
Now the Cardinals are going to walk Jock Jones. It'll be the 6th walk, first intentional handed to Chicago today, and load the bases for John Mabry. More times than not, you see a catcher on an intentional pass just move way out of the strike zone to the side. Molina moves back, as far back as he does to the side.
He does. Like he's backing out of the garage there.
The bases are loaded with 1 away, and Mabry coming up. The Avidart in-game box score: Pierre with 2 more hits today. Barrett has a couple. Got this rally started in the 7th inning. Ramirez has walked 3 times and now doubled. And Mabry, who's at the plate, 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Chance for the Cubs to bust it open here in the 7th. Ball 1. Talking to Tony La Russa before the game, he said it's almost to the point where I'm thinking so much about next year with Wainwright, because I love having him come out of the bullpen so much. And next year he will be one of the Cardinals' 5 starters. Don't know how he's going to replace him. But he's in trouble here in the 7th. Mabry flies one into left field deep. Back is Taguchi at the ivy, makes the catch, and 1 run will score. Back in that well in left field, tagging and scoring is Barrett on a sac fly by Mabry, and it's 4-1.
So Mabry hits it into straightaway left field. Had he hit it into left center, he's got a grand salami. But this one tailing into the well, and Taguchi makes a nice play. Ramirez had gone past halfway and had to retreat to second base. Ooh. Looked like that ball rolled around in the glove. He did make the catch, but rolling around in the ivy.
So now 1st and 2nd, 2 out, and the batter is Angel Pagan, a 3-run lead for the Cubs. Strike 1 on the outside corner.
Does one more time. Watch when he hits the ivy. Comes out and that ball is rolling around in the glove. Nice play by Taguchi.
Pagan today is 1 for 3. That is hooked foul. Strike 2. That is some fluffy ivy out on the outfield wall here at Wrigley. Get lost in there.
Buried in there, yeah.
Eckstein could walk into there. You might not find him for a week. Here's an 0-2. Ball 1. That young man got a foul ball, I'm told. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Adam Wainwright. And a tap foul at the plate. St. Louis in the 8th inning. Scott Air is getting loose for the Cubs down in their bullpen. We'll have Yadier Molina Aaron Miles and David Eckstein. Pujols will bat again before the end of the day. Angel Pagan trying to come up with a big 2-out hit. Wainwright started to walk away. It's ball 2. Called by Molina, the catcher. And again as Wainwright steps off. And Molina and Wainwright can't figure out what to do. So they'll go talk.
You see that often between a catcher and a pitcher, because a catcher has to use a sequence of signs with a runner on at second base. A lot of that is overdone. Wrigley Field used to be famous for that camera well out in center field flashing the red or the green light, and every team that came in here thought the Cubs were getting their signs. Flash a green light on a fastball, a red light on a breaking ball. That is no longer in vogue, we don't think.
Out in front of that pitch is Wainwright. Fooled Pagan, the out at first, and the Cubs leave 2, have stranded 8 on the day. Inning number 8. Here it is.
Dear Quiznos, we, the undersigned, ask you to cease and desist sale of your new smokehouse beef brisket sub.
Because it encroaches upon our long-established recipes and intellectual property.
Please comply forthwith. Thank you.
Introducing Quiznos Toasted Smokehouse Beef Brisket Sub. A double portion of premium beef, slow-roasted, mesquite smoked, topped with real cheddar and a sweet, smoky sauce. The new Smokehouse Beef Brisket Sub, now only from Quiznos. Eat up.
Show Daddy what you got. Did you call that? Yeah, the stripe balls. You know, the balls with the stripe. Scratch, scratch. Uh-oh.
The world of light beer. She's like... just got a little darker. Introducing new Michelob Ultra Amber. With its deep amber color and full flavored taste, it's the new look of light beer.
Hey, you want to throw some darts?
How do we know you spend more time behind the wheel than you want? And that often, what really needs refueling is you. How do we know you like fast better than slow? And that a friendly place to stop along the way can make a big difference in your life? How do we know? It's really very simple. The human touch and 1,000 other things you need. We're Exxon. We're mobile. We're drivers too.
This is Duralast, the battery built to exceed the need. Engineered with all the cranking power you need for extreme conditions. And for a limited time, get an AutoZone gift card with purchase. Only at AutoZone.
Yadier Molina, Aaron Miles, and David Eckstein will be the hitters against Scott Air, who takes over. Great work by Wirtz. He goes 1 inning, strikes out 2, and got around the leadoff double by Roland. Just hit off Maddox last inning. 8th inning now, 3-run lead for the Cubs and a strike from Air. Think about next year. Jim Hendry went out and got a couple of key setup relievers, Scott Air and Bobby Howry, to set up Dempster, who has been a hot closer for the Cubs, had a rough stretch earlier in the year. There's some pieces in this bullpen as Molina hits a 2-bouncer to Cedeno. 1 out. 1 out in the 8th inning on this hot day here at Wrigley Field. Strange beginning to this game. The first 2 innings, it has settled down since then, and the Cubs are doing it again to the Cardinals here on a Saturday afternoon as Aaron Miles in his first at bat takes a ball. There are the numbers for Scott Air. Has had a very good year in this rough season for the Cubs.
Yeah, I talked with Dusty Baker earlier, and Dusty said, how do you explain something like this? Very tough to have an explanation about how a team as good as the Cardinals and a team that's been as bad as the Cubs have been this year can have that topsy-turvy record. Cubs have dominated the Cardinals,
especially here at Wrigley, where they're trying to go 6-0. 2-1. These two teams have some more action together. Cubs will be in St. Louis toward the end of August. 25th, 26th, 27th. A 2-1 pitch. Miles 2-2. Cardinals are wrapping up a 10-game road trip where they swept LA and beat the Dodgers all 7 games they played them this season. First time they've done that. Then took 2 out of 3 in Colorado against the Rockies, only to come here to Wrigley Field, drop the first 2, and they are in danger of dropping this one today. 2-2 pitch. Miles strikes out against Air. 2 away. A Flomax game summary here in the 8th inning. Rolen, an RBI single in the first. The Cubs with 2 runs and 2 stolen bases, including a steal of home in the second. Barrett and Ramirez have done the jobs with the bats, and Greg Maddux was terrific on the mound, getting into the 7th, allowing 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 6, walked nobody, and in one stretch retired 10 straight. Here's Eckstein. Ball 1. David is 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. Started the day number 4 in the National League with his 122 hits, 107 of which are singles. That's the most in the NL. Second most in baseball to Ichiro of the Mariners. 2-0.
Joe, it'll be another week before everybody starts talking about the contenders and what kind of schedule they will have for the rest of the year. And when you look at the Cubs and the Cardinals, you realize that the schedule has nothing to do with it. All teams can beat contenders in the last 2 months of the season.
Back in 2004, after the Cubs had come so close in 03, teams that kept the Cubs out of the postseason that year were the New York Mets, who were out of it, and the Cincinnati Reds down the stretch.
Last week of the season.
That's up the middle. A 2-out base hit for Eckstein. And the Cardinals have their 6th hit of the day. That'll bring in Taguchi. Some describe Dusty Baker and the way he managed this past week, especially up in New York, like he was managing a playoff series, the way he used his bullpen. And he's got Air with Taguchi coming up, and with Pujols on deck. If he bats here in the 8th inning, he'll represent the tying run, and Bobby Howry is getting loose with Dempster waiting for the 9th.
Now, I know what you folks are thinking out there. If Pujols would represent the tying run, why not bring in the right-hander Howry to face Taguchi so Pujols will lead off the 9th with nobody on? It's a good question. The answer that comes to my mind is Howery's not ready yet. But if Taguchi gets on and then you bring in Howery, then you're facing Pujols representing the tying run. And if there's anybody in baseball you don't want to face in the late innings representing the tying run, it's a guy on deck for the Cardinals.
Here is a 1-0. Taguchi fouls it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Through the years since 2001 as rookie season. Last year his MVP season with 41. Those are the home runs. The only player in the history of Major League Baseball to hit 30 or more in his first 6 seasons. Also #1 in Major League Baseball this year with runners in scoring position. So there's all the incentive in the world for Scott Air to end the top of the 8th inning right now with Taguchi at the plate. And he's 1 strike away from doing that. 1-2. Is Ringhausen getting loose? Trying to get some work in, and probably will come in and work the bottom of this next inning. On 1-2, Taguchi grounds it foul outside third. It's always a tricky thing with Adam Wainwright, who they are trying to make sure they don't overwork this season. Wainwright pitched in the bottom of the 7th, gave up a run. They're trying to limit his work as much as possible, even though they're on the short end in this 4-1 game. 1 inning may be it for Wainwright. Right now it's Scott Air and so Taguchi, and we'll do it again with a count 1-2. Taguchi pops it into center for Juan Pierre. Cardinals get a hit. They strand their 4th of the day. Bottom of the 8th inning at Wrigley Field rolls in. Cubs will come to the plate, leading the Cardinals by 3.
You know you make me wanna take my heels off.
Officers, drink?
You make me wanna lift my head.
Drinking water gives you more energy, so you can have more fun. To make your body happy, drink more water. Like new Aquafina Sparkling, bursting with natural flavors. For tongue-tingling taste and 0 calories, try Aquafina Sparkling.
Hello.
Hi, sweetie.
So I got a promotion. Wow.
Hey, big office?
At Bank of America, you'll find our managers out front in the lobby.
Pretty big.
Does it have a window?
Huge.
There to assist you with your needs and get you on your way.
Manager, just be careful you don't lose touch with your customers.
Wouldn't worry about that one, Dad. Peeking there.
Expert personal attention. Another example of higher standards in checking, only from Bank of America.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. Your one-of-a-kind, one-stop shop for everything you could ever want in parts and performance accessories. Everything from lift kits to cool custom accessories is ready for direct-to-your-door delivery or convenient in-store pickup. When you want the most complete selection of parts and accessories, the only place to go is the new special order center in Advance Auto Parts.
We're ready in advance.
Baby Ruth is a great tasting candy bar. And when you have peanuts, nougat, and caramel, you don't need bells and whistles. All right, here's one whistle. But no bells. Baby Ruth from Nestle, official candy bar of Major League Baseball.
Right, and the first place Mets battle the Phillies. Fox Saturday Baseball next week.
Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Aquafina. Make your body happy. Drink more water. By Bank of America. Experience higher standards in checking only from Bank of America. by Goodyear's new Eagle with Response Edge technology. And by Travelocity.com. Book with Travelocity and you'll never roam alone. Jason Isringhausen takes over here in the bottom of the 8th. Chris Duncan is in the game and left. So Taguchi's day is finished. And Ronnie Cedeno is first up. Reyes, then Wainwright, and now Isringhausen. Leads the National League with 28 saves, getting in some work. Saving Wainwright from one more inning to log on his year. Adam went 1, allowed 1 run on 2 hits. Walked 1 intentionally and struck out nobody.
Very unusual for Isringhausen not to be in 2 games that the Cardinals lost by 1 run.
That is down the left field line. Foul. And a gutsy fan leading over with the hat on, 3 pairs of sunglasses, and throbbing hands.
Never underestimate the power of ending up with a foul ball. Applaud yourself. Happy for your son.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Cedeno fouls it off to the right. We'll have a look back at the beginning of this game, and the first 2 innings were as wild and wacky as you could find anywhere in baseball over the last month. The plays that we had, from Barrett being thrown out at second, picked off by Molina, to what transpired in the bottom of the 2nd. We saw everything. 2 bounces, X done. And it's our focus on our Holiday Inn Look Again play of the game. It's the plays of the game brought to you by Holiday Inn, the official hotel for Major League Baseball. There's Barrett getting picked off. Here's the base hit. 2 runners at third base. 1 safe at third. Mabry scoring behind Roland. The rundown coming to the plate. Stealing home was Pagan. And then out at the plate was Ronnie Cedeno. The diving catch by Jock Jones in right. So Taguchi didn't re-tag. They apply the appeal out at second and out to the shock of So Taguchi and Tony La Russa. A double play. And we saw some weird stuff the first 2 innings as Todd Walker will come off the bench and bat for Scott Eyre.
I thought you might do that in the voice of Rod Serling.
Imagine if you will.
2 teams on a hot summer day.
Strike 1 on Walker. Ryan Dempster is getting ready to try and close this one, and he will have his hands full with Pujols, Roland, and Encarnacion. Edmonds and Duncan, the next 2 scheduled hitters. That's strike 2 on Walker. You may be sending Todd his baseball cards to be signed in a new address after the trading deadline on Monday. One of the pieces, along with Phil Nevin and maybe Maddox, that the Cubs could trade to a contender. Oh, 2 from Isringhausen. To the right side for Miles. 2 out. And with the bases empty, Juan Pierre, who's 2 for 4 today, will walk in, and there is the voice of opposition if the Cubs are thinking about dealing Todd Walker.
You think about the dilemma for a guy like Dusty Baker. I mean, here Dusty Baker's on the line, job is on the line over the next 2 months, but in all probability Jim Hendry, the general manager of the Cubs, will encourage Dusty to promote younger players, so he's going to have to win with younger players, knowing full well that with younger players your chances of winning are going to be more remote.
Pierre takes a strike from Isringhausen.
So is that fair? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't.
Juan Pierre flies one to Duncan in left, and that sends this game into the 9th inning. Dempster will take over. Heart of the order, including Pujols coming up for the Cardinals. Last chance for St. Louis, down by 3.
Welcome to the Stackers Union, kid. We build stacks of meat and cheese. Meat and cheese. Hey, what's this? A single? We don't do singles! Get some more meat down here now!
Okay.
Boss, the meat! The meat! Get this meat off of me!
New BK Stacker, bacon and cheese on flame-broiled beef. Stack it high, tough guy.
The Roaming Gnome, enforcer of the Travelocity Guarantee.
Uh-oh, all is not well. I must tell them. Good morning.
Hello. Speaking?
So, you're calling to help me rebook?
Because the hotel pool's under construction?
Oh, dear.
Wow.
The Travelocity Guarantee. Looking out for you even before you go.
Ooh, tingly.
Let me guess, more Albert Pujols stuff?
He's the best.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
What am I, chopped liver? I hit 714 home runs.
Come on, the Wizard of Oz stole 580 bases.
In my day, we didn't have bases. We had rocks.
What?
Hey, I played in 2,632 straight games.
Well, I ate 2,632 hot dogs. Can I get an amen from the bobbleheads?
DHL and MLB give you the chance to vote for your team's greatest. It's Hometown Heroes. Go to MLB.com now.
It's a fact. The more we learn about how to take care of ourselves and our families, the longer and healthier our lives become. That's why more people turn to WebMD than any other health information source. It's a place where people find answers to health questions with an ease never before possible, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can finally forge a link between better information and better health. WebMD.
This is Duralast, the battery built to exceed the need. Engineered with all the cranky power you need for extreme conditions. And for a limited time, get an AutoZone gift card with purchase. Only at AutoZone.
Albert Pujols, the number 3 hitter in the Cardinal lineup. Instead of trying to knock in the big runs to tie or win a game, we'll try to get something started against Ryan Dempster. He takes over and deals ball 1. 19 saves for Dempster, and he has gone through peaks and valleys all year. One ball, one strike.
One of those valleys was a 7-week period from the 13th of May till July 3rd, when he was 1-5. He blew 5 save opportunities and 10 chances and had an earned run average of over 8. Other than that 7-week period, he's been terrific. No blown saves.
Pujols fouls it off to the right. It will just get out of play over the Cardinal dugout. Strike 2.
Once again, the Cubs just love this scenario of facing Albert Pujols to lead off an inning with a 3-run lead in the 9th inning.
That foul tip keeps Pujols at the plate. We talked about the trading deadline already a couple of times today. Outside of the practical part of it and actually adding players to your team in a stretch run and trying to get to the postseason, you look at the other side of it. If you don't add somebody of significance, and what kind of a psychological effect that can have on a ball club. Cardinals are, as a team, hoping for some help and hoping that General Manager Walt Jocketty can find it. More importantly, ownership will pay for it to give this team a lift. Right now, a 3.5-game lead in the division. Barrett cannot catch that one cleanly, and the at-bat will continue for Pujols.
Well, the struggles of Albert Pujols against the Cubs continue. Only 1 for 4 today entering the game, with a 158 batting average. Evidently made contact, foul tipped that last ball. It hit the dirt, so Pujols at bat still alive.
On 1 and 2, Pujols takes ball 2 up and away. I know I've caught a lot of the Cardinal players' attention when the Astros right after the break got Aubrey Huff. Now they're talking about maybe trying to add Soriano. on that list of teams that seem to be jockeying for position, hoping to find the right mix for Jim Bowden and the Nationals to make that deal. The Reds have added, and the Cardinals to this point have relied on the little bump that they've gotten from Chris Duncan, the left fielder, who's done very well, but they're also looking for some veteran help, and so far that help has not arrived.
It's a hard thing for a manager too. I mean, you're trying to convince your players, the roster with which you have gotten this far, that they're good enough to continue the long road toward a division championship. It's really a double-edged sword. You know, if you don't make a move, you have to try to convince the roster that you're dealing with that, you know, guys, we're good enough. We don't need to make a move. It's not that they can't add anybody after the trading deadline anyway because of the waiver situation.
That's over below ball 3, 3-2. But in this first year of a new stadium, money can't be the issue. It would be trying to come up with the right mix of young players. A lot of the big prospects and more of the talent for the Cardinals are in the lower minor leagues. There aren't a lot of major league ready players, really none at all. Pujols, a base hit to start this 9th inning. He's 2 out of 4. Cardinals need one more base runner to have a chance as Scott Rowland will walk to the plate. Rowland is 2 for 3. And his double back in the 7th inning chased Greg Maddux and snapped a streak where Maddux had retired 10 straight. Strike one on the inside corner.
Tony La Russa talking before the game about a number of young prospects with the Cardinals that Cardinal ownership asked his opinions on them, and obviously he said you can't salvage the future.
Hard hit. Ramirez juggles it. Throw to first is in time for the out. What a play by Ramirez to stay with it and get Rowland by half a step.
The short hop, and watch how the ball comes back up, and Ramirez barehanding it to get Rowland. That was a dandy play by Aramis Ramirez.
Just getting Rowland at first. And now Encarnacion with Pujols at second and 1 out. Strike one.
And back to that point, think about how difficult it is for Tony La Russa, whose future is right now. I mean, he's got to win, as all managers have to.
That is a foul ball, and Dempster hasn't fooled any one of the 3 hitters, but he's out in front of Encarnacion 0-2. La Russa is in his 11th season managing the Cardinals. Number 3 on the all-time wins list for managers with over 2,270 career victories. 6 times he's taken the Cardinals to the postseason in his 10 years prior to this one. Only in 2004 did he get to the World Series, and he and the Cardinals were swept by the Red Sox. Encarnacion, Neifi Perez with a backhanded pickup and throw. 2 down. 2 good plays on the infield by Ramirez and Perez to keep the tying run from coming to the plate.
You talked earlier about Dusty Baker managing in New York like it was the 7th game of the World Series. That's the way the Cubs have played the Cardinals the first 3 games of this series. Short hop. So after the play by Ramirez, Neifi Perez makes a fine play.
Now it's Edmonds, who's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Runner at third, 2 down, strike one. One out away from his 20th save is Ryan Dempster. One ball, one strike. If Edmonds reaches, Chris Duncan, who has been a red-hot second-half hitter, waits on deck. Ball two. Strike two. Full count on Jim Edmonds. This game lives on, and the tying run will come to the plate. Well, the rookie Chris Duncan walking in with 2 on and 2 out. Duncan, since the middle of July, has hit .326 with 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Overall, .291, and a guy who can hit the ball as far as just about anybody on this Cardinal roster. Duncan fouls it out of play off to the left. 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Dempster, and Edmonds, who was taking second, will have to go back.
Wind blowing out to left and in from right.
Chris Duncan trying to rescue this game for St. Louis. First and third, 2 out. And Barrett will go out and talk to Dempster. Chris is one of the few young big league players for this Cardinal team. You've seen all 3 that the Cardinals are proud of today, with Anthony Reyes, Adam Wainwright, and Chris Duncan. 3 names who I'm sure have come up in any conversation Walt Jocketty has had with any general manager across baseball. But it would take a lot to get any one of the 3 away from St. Louis. The 25-year-old Chris Duncan waits for an 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Duncan is going to get a base hit into right center field. In to score is Pujols. Going to third is Edmonds. And now the go-ahead run will come to the plate.
3 great defensive plays by the Cubs in this inning. You saw the one by Ramirez. You saw the one by Perez. And now Jock Jones to cut off that ball into right center field and hold Duncan to a single. Otherwise, representing the tying run, he'd be in scoring position at second base. Nicely done by Jock Jones.
So now first and third, 2 out. Tying run at first, and John Rodriguez will step to the plate. Rodriguez overall, with his pinch hitting numbers, they don't knock you over. But J-Rod, as they call him, in the pinch hit department, has hit 2 pinch hit home runs this season. He's driven in 6. And as a hitter, 6 out of 30. He'll bat here for Yadier Molina. A little 9th inning tension for the Cub and Cardinal faithful here at Wrigley today. I think where this inning would be without that terrific play by Aramis Ramirez over at third on the ball hit by Roland. Ball one to Rodriguez. John spent 6 years in the minor leagues last year, came up and was a fan favorite instantly with what he did. Grew up in New York. Cardinals got him out of the Indians organization, and in his second year with the team, he is up on the count here 2-0. On deck is Aaron Miles. Dempster wants a new baseball. Dusty Baker earlier in the week pulled Ryan Dempster Tuesday night in New York against the Mets and gave Howry the save opportunity, and Howry got the save against the Mets. He's 3-0 now on Rodriguez, and one more out of the strike zone from forcing the tying run into scoring position.
And nobody warming in the Cubs bullpen, even though Howry was up earlier, so you would suspect that it would not take him that long to get ready.
A 3-0. Rodriguez will take a walk, and the bases are loaded. And Aaron Miles, who has had one at bat in this game and has had some big hits for the Cardinals this season, will step to the plate with a chance to tie the game or give the Cardinals the lead with an extra base hit. Now Howry will get loose for the Cubs out in their bullpen. Right now it's the battle between Ryan Dempster and Aaron Miles. Strike one on Miles. Hit his first home run of the year on this road trip in Colorado. Former Colorado Rocky. Got off to a great start this season, hitting only .220 since the end of May. Not close. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and two. Game over. Cubs win it, not without some drama in the 9th inning and a final of 4-2.
Tell you, Joe, the strikeout of Miles sets the scene for tomorrow with Carpenter and Zambrano. If the Cardinals lose tomorrow, it'll be the first 4-game sweep the Cardinals have suffered here at Wrigley Field in 34 years.
A great pitching matchup in that game. As Tim mentioned, Zambrano and Carpenter. Our Chevrolet player of the game is Greg Maddux for the start he made today. And he got career win number 327 with 6+ strong innings in recognition of his outstanding work. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Chevy, an American Revolution. As has been the case so far in this series, defense played a large role in the outcome of this game, and defensively the Cubs outplayed the Cardinals today and won the game behind Maddux 4-2. For Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck. Jeannie and Kevin coming up on the other side of the break. Cubs win it by 2.
An important lesson I learned is to never give up.
Major League Baseball and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America teach kids the importance of never giving up.
Home run, Big Papi strikes
kid, big effort, big smile. I guess that's why they call me Big Papi.
Major League Baseball is a proud sponsor of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Together, they create a positive place for kids.
Welcome to the Chevy postgame show on Fox. Kevin, not yet. Chevy Baseball's #1 fan. Now, Kevin, go. This is your drum solo,
thanks.
my man.
I've been working all week on this.
Let it rip.
When are you going to break into the vocals? Come on, Jeannie.
This is an instrumental, my friend.
Very nice.
Sing amongst yourself.
I got the CD.
Did you? I could hear that. You were rocking out as you were coming in.
I might as well have a CD out.
Oh, boy, this is all about you, isn't it? And by the way, it's in paperback now. All right, coming this fall, though, this is why we're showing these great pictures. NFL on Fox returns September 10th as we welcome you inside the Fox Network Center and my partner, the author.
You told me we've been together 6 years. You know, I just say something, she'll follow, pick up right on it.
6 years feels like 60.
How about that?
I think that's how Dusty Baker feels right now. You know, for today, the Cubs are winners. Dusty Baker is saying, you know, don't blow this team up. This is not what it's about. We have a good nucleus here. Don't blow it up. But I don't know that that necessarily applies to Greg Maddux as we watched him leave the field.
Well, he doesn't look 60, Jeannie. 327 wins. He looks absolutely great. And, you know, that swan song maybe at the end there, the way he waved at the crowd, who knows? Could be gone.
All right, could be gone. That would might be. There goes my English. My English is gone. That would be the Braves.
Maybe go to the Mets. They're winners again today.
At taking the division because, wow, they have now dropped 4 of 5 after winning 9 of 11. The game that you just saw, there it is again, in case you missed the finality of it. Top 9 trying to wrap it up at Dodger Stadium. 2-game win streak maybe for LA.
In a row. 2 in a row,
Alfonso Soriano still with the Nationals as we speak. 11 innings. Guess who finished this one?
David Ortiz?
Yeah, it was just a single, though, so it wasn't as impressive.
Easily single.
All right, Randy Johnson came into a lead and blew it up.
Switch this one fast. Gary Lane doesn't need to see this.
First time they've given up this many runs twice in the season since 1928. Barry Zito came out of the gate very poor, but he recovered.
And I think Barry stays. I don't think he's going anywhere. White Sox back on track, Jeannie. A couple of games in a row now.
Well, what do you think would happen? They enter the weekend as the Major League leader in home runs. The Orioles, Major League leader in serving them up. 3 today. All right, next week. More drum solos, I'm sure, from Mr. Kennedy. Got the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves, and the Reds, plus a battle for the top spot in the AOS. The Rangers take on the Angels or the Athletics versus the Mariners. It all starts next week, 1 p.m. Eastern on Pacific, right here on Fox. Big move before Monday.
Soriano has got to go. Maybe next week with Anaheim.
And
they're
Greg
on Saturday.
Maddux goes.
Maybe LA as well.
Maybe
Dodgers,
LA.
Maybe the Mets.
Sure.
Just throwing it out there.
There you go. You know what? That's what everyone else does. See what sticks. See you next Saturday.
Promotional consideration paid for by
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, home to Major League Baseball, the National Football League, NASCAR, and the new home of the BCS. America's #1 sports network, Fox Sports.